defenses are so exceptional, and both of these teams have just been playing really good football as of late. I don't know if you noticed, but I put something on our little broadcast notes. Lone Peak's defense last week had 4 pick sixes. No team has scored 4 touchdowns on Pleasant Grove all season.
It's crazy. Pleasant Grove, I remember in the pregame show saying Pleasant Grove, like they've averaged only 11 points being scored on them every game, which is absolutely insane. That is not even 2 touchdowns.
The season high against Pleasant Grove this season is 21. Granger scored 21 on them. They shut out Farmington to open the season, and then they should have shut out West Jordan last week. It was a garbage time touchdown that resulted in the 7 points. So the points went on the board, but they weren't crucial. They didn't change the tide of the game.
Yeah, I am really excited to see how this game is going to go. So everybody grab your popcorn and watch as we introduce our players onto the field outside of the helmet. Before that, we're going to say that no negative cheers.
And here come your Vikings. Carrying the Grove Street flag is number 3, Cale McCoy. Carrying the American flag is Bronco Winterton.
Carrying the black G flag is the best player. Just kidding. We don't qualify any of the players as the best because they're such a well-oiled machine, but it is Sean Cottle.
And then with the white Viking was number 14, Tanner Blake. And the Knights run the fields, or they run to about the 50, and
not even. Some of them are turning at the 35.
If you hear a little bit of bias from us this week, that's because we are.
We try to bring you the most professional broadcast ever, but
when it comes to Lone Peak, sometimes it's a little difficult. But thank you. If you are a Lone Peak fan, we thank you for tuning in. We will keep it as disciplined and as non-biased as we possibly can.
Pleasant Grove student section really filling in just about maybe an 1/8 of it not full, so 7/8 full.
And there's really nothing we can say to offend Lone Peak fans because they can just turn around and go to the comments and just type 2012.
Yeah, or just go look at their banners. You know, they quite a good team. You cannot deny their greatness. We're going to have the Pleasant Grove Marching Band play the national anthem here in just a moment after they stop playing Eye of the Tiger, because I'm pretty sure that they're about to sing it, but then they're just standing here awkwardly. So
Carson Rasmussen and the Vikings offense will face Isaac Staley and Lone Peak's offense. Yes, we've got 2-point guards at the helm for both of these offenses today. And both players will have to play like point guards if they want to will their team to victory. Keeping the ball safe and just playing good fundamental football should lead either team to a victory. And we'll now turn our attention towards the flag for the national anthem. USA chants ring out here at Viking Field as we get ready to kick off this highly anticipated matchup. Some programs, some writing, some journals, I guess, had the game of the week this week as Lehigh and Skyridge. And I have many reasons to believe that this will be the game of the week. If you are tuning in to Pleasant Grove versus Lone Peak, you are tuning in to the best high school game you can watch in the state of Utah this week. And we thank you for tuning in here on Pleasant Grove Sports Network. Here with us, I'm Alan Judson here with...
And I'm Jack Barnard, and you know, I'm really excited to watch Pleasant Grove kickoff region play with arguably their biggest rival. You know, PGAF, a lot of the classics really like to say that that's the biggest rivalry, but truly, Lone Peak has gone in and kicked AF out of the top tier rival for Pleasant Grove. Big show out by the student section. It's even filled in ever since I made my last comment on it.
It slowly and slowly grows. And the Vikings will literally kick off region play here as Rockwell Dolman sends that one to the back of the end zone. And the Knights, Isaac Staley in the offense, will start at the 25. So you will see Isaac Staley. He's the junior quarterback, number 16. Last week he had a game low with volume, as we talked about the defense with 4 pick sixes. That's not going to give the offense the ball very much, which I'm sure Staley was fine to sit on the sideline as long as points were going up on that board. But 7 for 17 last week, 93 yards, 1 touchdown, and then this is a big thing to watch for Pleasant Grove's defense, 2 interceptions. Staley in the pistol. He takes the snap. They're going to hand it off to open up the game.
Going to be brought down by the defense for about a gain of 1 yard.
That's Brooks Wild on the run. Lone Peak's starting running back had 15 rushes for only 30 yards last week, and he gets just that average with 2 yards to open up this ball game. 2nd down and 8.
Passionate fans here today.
And we are glad there are passionate fans here. Football is always better with some passionate fans, especially in big rivalry games like this.
Lone Peak going to have one out to the right, going to have Trey Robinson in motion there. Going to be brought down just about 27-yard line.
So 3rd down as the Vikings are looking to get a big stop to open up this game. It's going to be about a 3rd down and 2, maybe a long 2. But 2 quick plays to open up the ball game for Lone Peak. And Staley will come out with the running back on his left hip. Twins to the left side and a single wide receiver on the right side. Staley takes a snap. He's going to look left, throw quickly to the left, and incomplete. Pleasant Grove gets a stop on 3rd down.
That
4th and 2.
That pass to Trey Robinson, not quite. Wide receiver, senior, 6'2".
Trey Robinson, there are a lot of seniors on both of these teams, but Lone Peak is a little more even, at least from what I'm seeing here on the roster.
I'm seeing that as a trend for a lot of teams here that we have played. Lots of senior-based teams. I don't know if I've really seen many junior-based teams, but very many senior-based teams.
So Lone Peak will punt to open up the ball game, and the kick is way short. It bounces at about the 50, and Pleasant Grove will start with the ball at the 48. So Rasmussen's got 52 yards. Not
a very effective punt there. I'm going to say, but like gets the job done. You know, you don't want, you wouldn't want us to start on the 27-yard line. So
as we were talking last week, West Jordan, they had a really, really good punter, probably the best we've seen all season. This is more what Pleasant Grove is used to in the punting game. And Walking Horse, I'm not going to spoil anything, but he had his plans on his desk. So aces here for Rasmussen, takes a snap, throws a screen pass to James Clark. James Clark down the left sideline, gets past midfield all the way to the 40-yard line.
Breaks a little bit of tackle before he's brought down, getting the 1st down for Pleasant Grove.
So Coach Walking Horse had he had the plans for this game laying out on his desk, and the Vikings are going to go hurry up with trips to the right. And they get someone to jump, but not quite over the line. So
looking at Walking Horse.
Coach Walkenhorst, I believe, in his 3rd year.
Yes, he's a rookie coach with these seniors when they were sophomores. Given to Sean Cottle straight up and brought down for a gain of 8 yards on that play.
I'll let you make that call, Jack. Sean Cottle, one of your favorites. He had 2 catches for 25 yards last week, and the Vikings keep going hurry up. Carson's going to have trips on his left side. That's the short side of the field, and they almost get another jump from that left end on Lone Peak. Franson's going to move to Carson's right hip. We're 2.5 minutes in here. Had to take a quick breath and see if I did that math right. But Carson takes a snap.
Hand it off to Franson, who's going to be brought down.
So what Sean got, Franson loses. So it's going to be about a 3rd down and 10 for Pleasant Grove from the 40-yard line. Carson, they're going to come out in ace formation with a single back. And they do get the offsides there. So 3rd time's the charm. Lone Peak didn't fall for it the first 2 times, but the 3rd time.
They did bite it all 3 times, though. Just didn't quite, you know.
They didn't pull him off the edge.
Yeah, they didn't secure the lure quite, but they got it on that 3rd try there.
So Carson's got to have a pretty convincing clap back there. As funny story, I actually heard Carson clap a little earlier today. We were playing Uno in physics, and I won. And Carson sits right behind me, and he started clapping for me. So Carson, all-around great guy, claps for an Uno winner. So
Very
here
nice.
he is, taking the snap, throwing across the middle. Mekhi Peterson.
My goodness. Immediate Viking 1st down. Gain of about 12 yards on that play.
As Pleasant Grove is moving the ball to open up this game, ace formation once again. Franson on Carson's right hip. We'll see if they actually snap it this time, and they don't. So we'll see how long Pleasant Grove keeps it that. But they've got the black jerseys on today with the white pants, and Lone Peak is wearing the opposite, the white jerseys with the black pants.
I think they might have done that on purpose. Just kidding.
Carson takes a snap. He's going to look left, looking end zone. He's going to step
run
up
it.
in the pocket. And he gets
hit.
rocked.
Breaks. My goodness, Carson gonna run it.
Touchdown! Pleasant
Vikings!
Grove. Carson Rasmussen.
My goodness, breaks a tackle.
What a dog.
Runs.
DAWG 6-0 Pleasant Grove.
Has 2 Lone Peak players smash into him. Unfazed. Run, gets out of there, runs around, and that's the toughness of Carson Rasmussen right there.
I didn't think they allowed phones on the sideline, but Carson might have seen Mekhi get player of the game over him, and he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Parker Hall with the kick.
It's going to be good. And that's going to bring the score 7-0 with 7:58 in the 1st quarter.
Carson Rasmussen uses his legs like he's done so well all season and puts Pleasant Grove up 7-0. So, man, oh man, what a first drive for Pleasant Grove. And I don't know if you saw, I put it in the broadcast notes as well, but 4 different kickers have scored points for Pleasant Grove this season. They haven't.
Yeah, and that is awesome, guys. If you guys haven't grabbed your popcorn already, you might need to grab it right now because this is already looking to be quite the game.
7-0 early, and Pleasant Grove will kick for the 2nd time. Lone Peak still yet to break the huddle, and Rockwell wants to boot that one out the back of the end zone. So here's Rockwell Doman. He has become the Vikings' lone kickoff man because he does that every time. And he
On
sends
the
it to the
soccer
end zone.
team, and you can tell.
So I did want to update any viewers. Last week we had a little bit of a scary scene. Mason Anderson was down on the field for about 10 minutes.
I think it was more like 20.
As he was on the field for a while. And
Couldn't stand up, suffered from broken ribs.
so I guess good news from what we originally thought on the broadcast, but it is the back ribs that are broken for Mason. I think he said he broke 2 or 3.
Because it was near his back, that's why he couldn't stand up for so long. But I believe that he was brought to the hospital and everything turned out successful. So we all wish him a very speedy recovery.
Staley takes a snap. He looks right. He's going to throw right. The fade route. Cottle on defense. And no
Gets that out
good.
of his hand. Cottle. Great on defense, great on offense.
Cotto will stand over him while Tua Wolfgram helps him up, but I believe that was Logan Hoffhines, number 7 for Lone Peak. He had 3 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown last week. Really quickly going back to Mason, he was walking around. He is walking around right now on the sideline for varsity, and he was walking around last night at the JV and sophomore games. So, and he's in high spirits. He's had a smile on his face every time I've talked to him. So Staley takes a snap, looks right, and it's going to be a handoff, and
he's brought down.
Still going nowhere is wild.
3rd down for the Knights. Going to be 3 and 9, I guess, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be 3 and 10.
So Staley, 3rd down and 9. Ace formation once again. 2 wide receivers on both sides. Staley takes the snap. He's going to look left. Scanning the field, throwing a deep ball behind the defenders. And it's incomplete. That's Gabe McCoy.
My goodness.
On the pass defense, and the Vikings defense.
Pleasant Grove's defense is.
That was number 10,
demonic.
Trey Robinson, once again.
Absolutely bamboozling this Lone Peak offense. Cannot, both times, both of their drives ended up in a punt.
As you just saw in that replay, that is Gabe McCoy just being bigger. That ball was in the hands of Trey Robinson. Gabe McCoy got his hand in there and ripped it out as he was going to the ground. And another 4th down for Lone Peak. It's going to be their 2nd punt of the ball game from his own 10. This one's sky high, still short of the 50. And it's going to take a Lone Peak bounce. Carson still only got 45 yards away from his doorstep.
Keep interrupting. Right there on the 45-yard line for Lone Peak.
So Carson Rasmussen had a big rushing touchdown in their first drive. Now the Vikings offense takes the field for the 2nd time. They only ran the ball. I mean, Carson ran the ball on a quarterback scramble that was not designed, or looked in no way designed. They fooled me if it was.
They did run the ball with Aiden, and it ended up being in a Viking loss of 6 yards. But ended up scoring the touchdown on the very next play, so.
Carson with trips on his left. He's going to keep it. And he's going to get a gain of about 4 or 5.
Almost there. Had me fooled for a second. Fake handoff to Aiden Franson with his Thor-like hair.
We were looking both ways, so whoever they handed it off to, we had a guy on the call. So Carson is going to have twins on his left side, a single wideout who goes in motion. Now it's Mackay Peterson, excuse me. And they're going to throw it to him on the screen pass. Mackay gets past the line of scrimmage and gets a short gain of about 2 or 3 before being stood up by 2 Lone Peak defenders. And we move to a 3rd down and 4. Pleasant Grove looking for a crucial 1st down here.
Absolutely. Like, if you do miss this 3rd down, like 1st down here, do you go for it? Like, you're 3 yards away, and you're fairly far down the field already, but you don't know.
I think they're kind of in the no man's land. It's too far to kick it. It would be a 54-yarder, and you're too close to punt it. Because if it goes out the back of the end zone, the net punt is only about 18 yards. So
trips on the right with one on the left. Sean Cottle on the left side. Going to throw it to Sean Cottle for the Viking 1st down.
I think that Jack might go down there and give Carson a hug after this game if he keeps throwing to Sean Cottle like this.
Maybe he watched some PGSN and realized that Sean Cottle is a very important asset for them.
So 7-0. Carson pushes James Clark out a little wider, stacked on both sides. It's the ace formation. Once again, Carson takes a snap. He's going to hand it off to Matt Morris, who gets brought down in the backfield. So running the ball doesn't seem like it's working too well for Pleasant Grove today.
Brought down by Tegan Toll. Also a senior, very senior dominated team here. Few sophomores on there and some juniors.
As there is a whistle being blown, I believe it's a I'm not sure what it is. The refs are just kind of, they stopped play. Lone Peak substituted. I'm not sure if that's why they stopped it or if there was something else, but nevertheless, play will resume as Carson in the backfield with Matt Morris once again. Matyra Brown and Parker Rivers in as tight ends on both sides of the ball, and then twins on the left side for Carson.
No one on the right side.
And that's where they'll run it with Morris as he gets a gain of about 2 and some whistles after a little bit of extracurricular activity after the play. You always expect a little bit of chippiness in these games. Lone Peak is kind of a team that is universally disliked. And
that's a good point you bring up. Like, really, I think in Lone Peak's perspective, they don't know who their rival really is. Like, but almost every single team has thought of Lone Peak as their rival because they came in and started winning a bunch of championships. Props to them. I mean, great program they have. But here's Pleasant Grove. 3rd and 10. Throws it to, that was Mackay. He's going to be brought down.
And a flag thrown. That's going to be an ineligible receiver downfield. It was Thatcher Kuhn. I'm guessing. But I believe that's what the penalty should be, as they are talking to Lone Peak's head coach about that. So now he has a tough decision to make. Well, I don't think it's a very tough decision. I know what I would do if I were him, but he can either accept the penalty and make it 3rd down and 15, which is not what he does. He is going to decline it. So it's going to be 4th down, and they only gave him a yard.
Dang.
On that reception.
4th and 9.
But Pleasant Grove is going to do what we were talking about.
They're going to keep Carson in.
Because this is
it's no man's land. That's what you were just barely saying.
There's a lot of, in high school football, there's a lot of no man's land. And Pleasant Grove is stuck in the middle of it right now. As I'd say probably in between the 25 and the 45 are really where you're.
Has Sean and Tanner Blake on the left side here.
Carson's going to have to roll out, make some magic, throws it downfield to nobody. The pass goes incomplete, and Lone Peak gets a defensive stop now.
They broke through immediately and were able to scare Carson a little bit. Couldn't quite get a good throw off there.
Carson did a great job of keeping the ball out of harm's way, not taking a sack, just kind of accepting, I guess, his fate. But it could have been a lot worse, and Carson kept it. What's it? Damage control. Carson did a great job with damage control there. So the Vikings defense takes the field for the 3rd time. Lone Peak has ran 8 plays, and 2 of those have been punts. So Isaac Staley, you can tell he plays basketball if you look at him. He's 6'5".
Trips on the right, 2 on the left here.
Vikings blitz, they bring 6. Quick throw, and finally getting his catch is Trey Robinson with a gain of about 2 or 3. He's been targeted 3 times.
Trey Robinson has been a player that I've seen very active on the field so far, either being in motion or being the main receiver.
So 2nd down and 8. And you'll see some players on defense that you recognize from offense. Sean Cottle, Mackay Peterson, Riker Mickelson gets a couple snaps in there on offense. But really the whole Vikings secondary also plays wide receiver as the Vikings press up on the line. Going in motion now. Lone Peak is going to run a quarterback draw and get taken down in the backfield.
My goodness, Isaac Staley being brought down.
Matyra Brown on the sack. Believe it was
seeing lots of activity by Matyra Brown.
I believe it was Matyra Brown and Miles Williams. Matyra Brown on the linebacker blitz broke through. So a 3rd down and 10 with 2:06 remaining here in the 1st quarter. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Trips on the right side, twins on the left side. Empty set. Staley takes a snap, looks over the middle, pump fake.
Fakes it.
He's going to roll out now. And
Brought
stood
down.
up
My goodness.
by Riker Mickelson, laying the shoulder. 4th down and 4.
Riker Mixon not afraid of anything after playing on varsity basketball as a freshman, going up against Lone Peak and beating them in basketball.
Playing Lone Peak in basketball is a little bit of a salty subject right now. Still, it was December, but still a little bit of a salty subject. The loss in the playoffs.
In February, yes.
Oh, I apologize.
You're okay.
My timeline's a little messed up.
I know it was February because it was actually on one of my best friend's birthdays that I went and commentated that game. My best friend is he's not here now.
So Cale McCoy
brought down.
Fields the punt. These punts have just been getting better and better and better for Lone Peak because, well, they've punted 3 times.
Yeah, they got practice now. They don't need that net because they have the actual game to punt. As the sun goes behind
the clouds, we can raise the blinds.
The mountains here, and we can raise the blinds and get a full view of the play clock. And Allen got it. He's been struggling with these blinds. He doesn't really know how they work. You see, if you pull it and have it on the left side, it will go down.
Really quickly, I'm going to talk about that one-on-one with Tanner Blake on this near sideline. That's something I'm targeting if I'm Carson.
Flag on the play here.
And that's something I feel like Pleasant Grove has kind of hesitated to target, are those one-on-ones. You are on the far sideline there, so you do have to watch the safety drifting over as you throw the pass, because it's a long pass as a false start on Pleasant Grove pushes them back 5 yards. But watching receivers who are kind of on the sideline with a one-on-one or in the slot with a one-on-one is something that I think Carson hasn't done this season, and that's likely just been what the coaching is. But you can see it here. You've got Cale McCoy there in the slot, who might have a one-on-one if he can break past that second unit.
Tanner Blake in motion here.
Carson.
Gonna run through the middle, could be brought down.
Get a gain of about 2. I'm not sure if that was designed or not, because it looked like Carson just made one read and then threw the pass. But it looks like he made one read. So I'm not sure if it was designed or not, but a gain of 2 as Pleasant Grove moves to a 2nd down and 13. Tanner Blake, James Clark, and Cale McCoy on the trips on the left side for Carson, and then Aiden Franson. Excuse me, that's Matt Morris in the backfield with him. And then Sean Cottle is alone on the top. And Carson's going to go his way. Catch
My
made.
Goodness. Makai Peterson.
That was Makai Peterson. Excuse me, I said Sean Cottle.
You're okay. Both phenomenal players on our team.
Not biased. 3rd down and short.
I'm not biased. I was talking about both of them. Great players.
And that will end the first quarter. So at the end of 1, it's Pleasant Grove 7, Lone Peak nothing. Pleasant Grove has the ball and has a 3rd down coming up. We'll be back right after this. So after 1 quarter, Pleasant Grove leads 7-0 against their big bad guy. I was going somewhere and then I kind of lost it. The big bad guys from Highland. As Carson has Tanner Blake one-on-one at the top of the screen. Carson takes a snap. He's going to roll out left. Designed quarterback run on 3rd and 3. And going nowhere. And Lone Peak thinks they got a fumble. And they did.
Carson dropped it like a hot chimichanga, and that is an unfortunate way for Vikings to turn it over.
So after that break for the end of the first quarter, a turnover, and that puts Lone Peak now on the doorstep for scoring. So now Isaac Staley and Lone Peak's offense coming out at the 32-yard line is where they'll get the ball. Staley Wild in the pistol formation. 2 tight ends on the right side. As they are going to was Thatcher Kuhn.
Brought down for about a gain of 2 on that play. Going to be 2nd and 8.
Looks like it's spotted at the line of scrimmage, so it looks like it was a 2nd and 10.
Oh, so the scoreboard was right for once. Who knew?
No, stop asking. Dash.
So Staley with twins on the left side.
You remember.
As Hoffhines goes in motion, so now to wide receiver on both sides. He goes in motion again.
Trey Robinson on the left here.
And a timeout called by Lone Peak now as the play clock expired. So Lone Peak will take a break, 10:58 remaining. So we'd like you to direct your attention to your screen. And on your screen now is a QR code that will take you directly to a PayPal where you can donate to our PGSN program. This money will go directly back to our program and is spent on merchandise, upgrading equipment, and allowing students to travel to Georgia this winter to broadcast the Vikings out-of-state basketball tournament. It's going to be pretty expensive, so we'd love your help with that. And there are also options for companies or individuals to promote and broadcast commercials on our streams. If you are interested in this option, and only if you are interested in this option, email Russ Mayo, whose information is on the screen. And thank you for your continued support of us and our program. We love bringing it to you, and we hope you guys love watching it as well.
Pleasant Grove on the defense here. Here's Staley with Trey Robinson on the left side here. Going to bring Logan
Hoffhines goes in motion again.
Brought down.
3rd and 12. There's another team from Utah who has to deal with that option play right now. And
that's Brooks Wild that was brought down there.
Unfortunately, that other team isn't doing too hot. 29-0. Utah State is losing to Air Force, but 3rd down and 13.
Unfortunate for them.
With 10:30 remaining, that option works so well for Air Force as the Pleasant Grove offensive line. It's Aiden Franson, Jackson Lawrence, and Ezra Halcyon, who are hyping up the Viking student section here on 3rd and 13. Staley takes a snap, looks right, and a flag is going to be thrown. We'll see where they go with it. Offsides on Pleasant Grove, so it's going to be a 5-yard penalty, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 8. The ball will move to the 29-yard line, or they're going to spot it at the 30. So 3rd down and 8.
Much easier play for Lone Peak to pull off here.
As that kind of zapped the energy out of Pleasant Grove student section. Staley in shotgun, ace formation once again. They love running this. Staley takes a snap, looks left, throws left quickly.
Caught
making
by
the catch,
Trey Robinson.
but not getting where he needs to be. He gets to the 25-yard line, so it's going to be a 4th down and 3. And like we said, the 25 is kind of the edge of no man's land. And on the left hash, Lone Peak moves.
As Ezra Halcyon's efforts were not in vain, as Pleasant Grove's student section was very hyped up for that play there. To bring it to Lone Peak's 4th down here, they're going to go for it because it's 4th and 3. And they're in no man's land, just like we were describing earlier.
Vikings show blitz. There's 5 seconds left on the play clock. And the play clock expires. And the flag is going to be thrown. So it's going to be a 5-yard penalty on Lone Peak. Staley doesn't get the pass off in time. And that makes it a 4th down and 8. But that just pushes them, into the spot of the field where it really is no man's land. You have no option but to go for it. Really not much of anything. So there was no way that's on purpose. But I can't tell. It's going to be the kicking team. They're going to try and kick a field goal here. It is going to be a 47-yarder. The kicker is number 22, Adam Connors. From 47, the kick is good. So the score moves to 7-3. .8:42 remaining here in the second quarter. Pleasant Grove still with a 4-point lead, 7-3. So Lone Peak still doesn't have a first down. And that's something that I'm watching, not just now, but for the remainder of the game, is Lone Peak's offense really hasn't done anything.
Yeah, like not producing quite like we really thought they would.
I don't have any official numbers, but I think they have about maybe 10 yards of total offense.
Yeah, acting a little bit sheepish. I'm just not really sure what, like, I feel like this isn't the Lone Peak that we were expecting, but as well as this isn't the Pleasant Grove offense that we were expecting either. Some things haven't turned out in our favor. Some things have.
But I think one thing to really focus on is how well Pleasant Grove's defense has played. It hasn't just been Lone Peak's offense maybe not playing as well as they should have.
Our defense, performing just as well as we thought they would.
And after the 47-yard kick, the kickoff to Gabe McCoy falls short of the end zone. Cale McCoy, excuse me. As there's another fumble, I think.
Gonna stay on it that time.
If there was a fumble, Cale McCoy hopped back on it. I saw a Viking fly in like Superman.
I thought that was a Lone Peak player flying in like Superman, but you are right. He kind of went horizontal there as he took quite the dive into that pile to get that football.
So Carson, the Vikings come out in ace formation, stacking both sides. It's Franson in the backfield with them. As
had two people in motion there.
There was a Viking who jumped, but it looked like he might have gotten pushed off the line. And they're going to talk about it. The refs will talk about it, as it's going to be an offsides on Lone Peak. So if the Lone Peak player jumps off sides, Pleasant Grove is, in air quotes, allowed to move. You're still not supposed to if you are the offense, just in case the refs see it wrong and you get called for a false start. But you won't get called for a false start if the defense does it first.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense, actually.
That's what they're calling there, is the offsides caused Pleasant Grove to false start. As Househane's the ultimate hype man for Pleasant Grove. Carson, what looks like a quarterback draw.
Going to be brought down for the first down after the 1st and 5.
And Carson will let everyone know he got the first down. Carson is so expressive when he plays, and it's so fun to watch. The Vikings go back to that hurry up. And they don't get anyone to jump.
Is this ace formation with 2 on each side?
That is ace formation when there's 2 wide receivers on both sides, and that can include a tight end as one of the receivers. For it to be ace formation. Carson takes a snap, looks right, throws right. Makai Peterson on the catch.
Going to be brought down. Got a gain of 4.
Gain of 6 for number 6. Gain of 5. 4, 5, something. 4, 5, or 6.
Almost.
One of us was right somewhere.
I think it was 5. Gain of 5. Not sure. Sometimes they count how many yards you got to, and it feels like sometimes that it just is when the ball was down. So
Carson takes a snap, looks right, throws right. Makai on a streak, and there's going to be a flag thrown. That's number 2, Matthias Nauheim, who gets flagged for that. It's either going to be a holding or a pass interference, but he kind of dragged down Makai Peterson there. As you can see him here at the bottom of your screen, that ball might have been deemed uncatchable.
I think that they grabbed it. He grabbed his wrist a little bit there.
Yeah, it looks like he just got a hold of the jersey, because that catch was a little bit out of the reach of Makai. But a 1st and 10 for Carson. Empty set, and he crossed the ball. So another 5 yards, free 5 yards for Pleasant Grove. And Jack, let's throw it back to the beginning of the game when I said whoever plays more like a point guard is going to win this game. Whoever plays fundamental football and doesn't make mistakes. And that's kind of all we've seen from this Lone Peak team, is just small little mistakes. And they build up.
Yeah. And Pleasant Grove had a few sloppy runs here with that hike not being the best.
Bronco
oh my goodness,
Winterton,
Bronco
25,
Winterton.
20, 15, 10,
Gotta avoid
5,
it for the
touchdown! Bronco
Vikings.
Winterton, 13
My
and 3.
goodness.
Bronco Winterton got that ball over the middle on what looked like a crossing route or a slant route, and he took it all the way to the house. The Vikings are up double digits here with 7:30 remaining in the second quarter, and it's raining dollar bills here on this side of the field as the Pleasant Grove student section is dancing.
We got their Spirit representatives running across the front of the student section with our different flags.
So 13 and 3 with a chance to make it 14 and 3.
Kick is good.
I believe that was Parker Hall who got the kick. Parker Hall and his flag football team yesterday won 42-0.
Wow, that is quite the trivia you have there. Were you playing against him?
I was not playing, thankfully. I'm not on the team either. I didn't win 42-0. I was just made aware of it. As once again, we get the opportunity to remind you that I'm Alan Judson.
And I'm Jack Barnard.
And we are very grateful to bring to you guys today this broadcast. And not only today, we do bring these to you every single week. And we hope you'll tune in, not just this week, for what is such a big game. And Pleasant Grove has taken a lead that I'm sure they're happy to take. But
absolutely, but you cannot get too confident here. The game is far from over. 7:29 to go in the second quarter.
I can always count on you to bring me back to earth when I get a little far-fetched, whether it's talking about the refs or making some comments about the game being over, which, like I said, it's not. Rockwell line drive
boots that like a penalty kick. My goodness.
To the 5.
Give me Trey.
And
getting
now this is
people.
not
My
something
goodness.
Pleasant Grove wants to see. It's just going to be Rockwell, he can't make the tackle. 30, 25, 20, 15. There should be a penalty on that, but touchdown for Lone Peak, and there are no flags, and Lone Peak's student section is going absolutely crazy. So going all the way down the sideline. You'll see what I said about a penalty. 87 there goes. That's illegal. Diving for the legs, that should have been a tripping call, but wouldn't have done much. An amazing run back.
Rockwell tried to tackle him, but not really trained in that as far as being just a kicker. So, wow.
I'm not sure.
What a change of events. And like I said, you can't get too comfortable because how things have changed just barely.
We're back to right now it's a 5-point game with a chance to become a 4-point game. As the kicker once again is Adam Connors. As he almost has that one blocked, but it goes through the uprights. So 14-10 as Lone Peak scores their first touchdown. Now, something I'm going to keep bringing up. Still no first down for him. That was the kickoff return for a touchdown.
That was literally just their first try. No first down for the Knights.
As Pleasant Grove, maybe a little energy zapped off their sideline and sent over to the Knights sideline, as this is by far the most attended away game for any school that's come here this season. And
yes, but a lot of them haven't been in our region. Well, all of them actually, but because we've played teams that are quite far away.
So Adam Connors once again here with the kick. And this one will be sent. Gabe McCoy is going to field it in the end zone, so that's an automatic touchback, and Pleasant Grove will start at their 25, or their 20, excuse me. So 1st and 10 for Carson Rasmussen as he kind of has to maybe bring back a little more energy to that Pleasant Grove sideline, and that's something that you see Carson do a lot, and something he could easily do with a big run for a first down and then a very emphatic point, letting everyone know that he is in fact him. So Sean Cottle and Carson Rasmussen And the Vikings offense take the field.
You made it sound like the rest of the players are minuscule there a little bit.
The rest of the players are not minuscule. I was actually just thinking that I need to take notes of who the offensive linemen are and shout them out more, because that's someone we've hardly talked about. And those are people who deserve a lot more recognition than they're getting. Carson's going to hand it off to Aiden. Aiden trying to find the edge.
Gonna
He's
run
gonna
it
break
through a
up
little
field
bit.
for a gain of about 5 or 6. We'll call it about 5.5. So 2nd down and 4, I believe, is where that'll be spotted. A long 4.
Scoreboard has gone out except for the team names here, or just the high school names.
Which the clock is still running.
6:14.
Just Carson and the Vikings offense can't see it. And they can't really see it anyway. It's to their backs.
Yes.
But
Still have a play clock. We've had a few fields that only have one play clock.
and I think we had, as that goes over
Oh.
Carson's head, he's going to have to run back and grab it. And no magic will happen on that play. He's just going to eat it up. Some more damage control done by Carson. That's a big, big loss for Pleasant Grove. That makes it 3rd down, and I'm just going to say 3rd down and long.
Yeah, you have Jason Mayberry and Tegan Toll going after that missed hike. I always forget what
Snap.
The snap.
Jaden
That's a good word. Hiking it is like flag football term.
Jaden Mayberry is someone we talked about a little earlier. He leads the state in interceptions. He has 7. I believe he had 2 pick sixes last week against Highland. As the Vikings throw the screen pass, it's intercepted. That's a pick 6.
Interception.
Easton Anderson.
And
Oh
that-
my goodness, how the tables have turned.
Bigot, Pleasant Grove is in a pickle now. Like really, how this has changed for them. Being up 14-3 to now being, well, the score was still out. Hold on, let me math real quick.
14-16
Yeah,
is the score
14
right
to
now,
16.
pending the PAT.
They could go down 3 right now, depending on the extra point.
As Tua Wolfgram is going to sprint down the field. I feel like we've called his name a lot today, but it's Adam Connors once again with the kick, and this one was way high, but
And
through
it's
the
good.
upright. So a 3-point deficit for Pleasant Grove now, and you know, just a couple, like 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes ago, maybe 2 minutes ago, we would have been talking about like what's been going on with Lone Peak's offense. Well, we were talking about what's been going on with Lone Peak's offense, and what's been going on with Lone Peak's offense is they still have yet to get a first down.
Yes, I was about to bring that up. Still no first down.
So Lone Peak's offense has scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Their defense and special teams has scored 6 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. So in the absence of Jackson Blake, Isaac Staley really hasn't had to take that field that much. He's a little bit unproven. He only had 7 completed passes last week, and there's no way he has that many this week. I think he has 2 or 3 so far, and we're about, I can't tell how much time is left. I see a 15 over there. 5:15 remaining here in the second quarter. How does it feel? You guys are watching the stream. You know the clock. The whole stadium doesn't know the clock. But there's the kick, and this one's going to be booted out the back of the end zone once again. Gabe
For an
McCardle
automatic touchback.
will catch it on the eye in the second eye in Vikings.
Few Viking players falling down as Jackson Lawrence is limping off the field. Not Jackson Lawrence. That is going to be Parker Rivers. He's limping off the field a little bit. After getting tripped by a Lone Peak player, or him and a Lone Peak player collided and fell. And here come the Vikings.
So Rasmussen and the offense take the field.
Rasmussen, those shouldn't go to his head. We can't have a quarterback crumble under pressure here. He's gonna have a running play. Aiden Franson gonna break
breaks
through.
all the way through to the 35. There's a little more energy here for this Pleasant Grove sideline.
After it was absolutely drained out of the student section.
So
Got a
this-
bit of excitement back in there. This Pleasant Grove's team is still capable of performing, and the scoreboard is back on for us.
So absolutely, as you were saying, like we can't have Carson have these go to his head. That's 2 turnovers for him now. So he lost a fumble in the first quarter and then the interception here in the second quarter. As Carson takes a snap, it's going to be another handoff to Aiden. And he's not going to go much of anywhere. A gain of 1 on that play, 2nd down and 9. But something we've talked about is the Viking defense and how well they've played. But something they have yet to do is get a turnover. And that's something that they might need to do here on this next possession. Obviously, they've been sitting on the sideline because it was a special teams touchdown, then a defensive touchdown. So they haven't taken the field in a while. But giving Pleasant Grove that advantageous field position that they opened the game with could be huge for Carson to get back on track. And I think once he gets back on track, it should hopefully be smooth sailing from there. But getting him back on track here with Aiden on his right hip. He's going to get a chance to throw it here. He's going to tuck it.
He's going to stay up.
Do what he does best.
3 different times for a gain of 2 yards. All that. Gonna be 3rd down and 7.
Pleasant Grove cannot afford to lose this man. I think he could, well, from the looks of that and that spin move, he could be on the ballroom team. He's on the basketball team. He's on the football team. Wouldn't be surprised if he could swing a bat really well. Carson Rasmussen.
It all comes down to athletics.
As one thing I want to point out, number 6, Makai Peterson here on the bottom of the field. This isn't really an opportunity to take a shot, but if you want to take a shot, you got a penalty last time you tried this play, and I think this is something that could really get Carson back on track. That's who he looked for, is Makai.
My goodness, 1st down for the Vikings.
And past midfield, Makai Peterson ran a little bit of a slant route.
48-yard line.
Wasn't necessarily, it was a slant route. In Madden, it would be an Omaha play, and Makai Peterson limps off. And he's going to sit the next play out.
Might have been brought down in a less than convenient way. And Pleasant Grove's going to line up here. The Twins on the left. They give it to Aiden. Aiden going to run it. Brought down for about a gain of 3 on that play.
It's just positive gains is something that that you love to see here for Pleasant Grove, as they're trying to get the offense back on track. 2nd down and 8. And the old, I guess it's not really an old adage, but the quote-unquote strategy is 3 yards every time you run the ball. I believe he got 2 on that one, but 3 yards every time you run the ball will get you where you want to go.
2 and 8 claim to be on this play here.
Carson takes a snap. He's going to look left. He's going to scramble. He avoids the sack. And now he can avoid 4 people at one time. As Carson's kind of taking a beating.
As he gets his sleeve torn off of him.
And a timeout called by Pleasant Grove, and that's a good timeout. You've kind of seen a little bit of the momentum kind of go out of Pleasant Grove sideline. That might have been, this might be a little bit of too late for that timeout that you're looking for, but eventually you've got to do something, and that's what was done here. So Pleasant Grove's offense really had a good first couple drives, and they've kind of fallen off and tapered from there. And Carson Rasmussen is taking a beating.
He's on the right side of the field.
And partially, I'm not gonna, that's not his fault, but partially it's been the play calling. I'm not gonna blame it on the coach either. I like the plays. It's what's been working for Pleasant Grove, but having him run those quarterback draws and having him run the ball is maybe not a situation you want to put your quarterback in this early in the season. And that's what they've been doing the last couple weeks, and Carson scored a lot of touchdowns out of it, but I think eventually the toll on his body will catch up to him. And I think Coach Walkenhorst is hoping that Coach McAllister has to deal with it. There's a dart.
Absolutely.
So you might be in no man's land here. This might be a place for Pleasant Grove to go for it. I think they are to punt it, and it does look like they bring on the punt team.
Still, valiant effort with that throw to Cale McCoy.
So the punt is going to be Gabe McCoy punting it. Lone Peak has not sent anyone deep yet. Now they have a player backpedaling. So Pleasant Grove's defense once again getting put in a situation where they have to come up. They have to come up big. And they've shown time and time again that they can do it, as Pleasant Grove was going to use their second timeout with 1:05 remaining. They ran the play clock all the way down until they didn't have a choice but to call a timeout, and that was on purpose, giving Lone Peak as little time as possible.
One is low pocket bounce, Gabby's.
So 1:05 remaining here in the first half. Pleasant Grove will receive the kick to open up the second half, and right now, ideally and realistically for Pleasant Grove, the half ends where the score is at now, and you have Coach Walkenhorst with an opportunity to ignite some fire into this team coming into halftime, because they played with fire for the first quarter and a half, but you've seen what happens when teams kind of start to maybe not give 110%, especially in this region. It's really going to cost you. So here's Gabe McCoy. He will punt. A great punt. It's going to drop inside the 20 and take a Pleasant Grove bounce to the 16-yard line. Maybe it wasn't as good of a bounce as I thought it was, but
It was a pretty good bounce.
so 56.5 remaining here. Lone Peak does have all two timeouts. Well, not all two timeouts, but they have two timeouts. So don't expect them to just lay down and take this ball into halftime. Expect this team to really make an effort to go down and score, but Isaac Staley hasn't really shown today that he can do that. I'm not saying it won't happen here, but trips on the right side is Wild. The running back is split out in the slot, and then two wide receivers on the left side. Staley, Vikings show blitz. And they bluff. Staley throws it to the sideline, and brought down after a gain of 4 by Riker Mickelson is number 12, Jason Mayberry. Jashawn, excuse me, not Deshaun, Jashawn.
Oh, is it really just Sean?
I think so. As Staley rolls out.
And it's going to be caught by...
If he made that catch, it's the first Lone Peak first down of the game with 33 seconds left in the second quarter. And like I said, they have all two timeouts. They haven't had to use one yet. They got out of bounds on that play. So Lone Peak has a chance to drive down the field. Pleasant Grove's defense can't give up. Staley is going to bring out trips to the left side. Empty set once again. Expect to see a lot of passing formations here on this drive. Staley takes a snap, looks left, throws left, over the middle, and brought down by 44. That's the first time we've called his number, as Lone Peak uses their first of their two timeouts here. So Jack, not necessarily the first half that we expected to see, especially after the first couple drives. The first quarter ended 7-0, and then there have been 24 points scored here in the second quarter, 17 of them by Lone Peak. But Pleasant Grove is still very much in this game. Lone Peak is still very much in this game. It's going to be interesting to see how the second half plays out after these 27.7 seconds left here in the second quarter.
Yeah, I'm just looking, what is, because Lone Peak, Pleasant Grove is receiving for second half here, and Lone Peak will have to kick off. So are they just going to like, just go for it, go for it, go for it?
Here on this drive, I expect him to take at least one shot. Isaac Staley is going to look right, pressured, and thrown to the sideline. And then Gabe McCoy lays a shoulder in to Jaden Mayberry. But getting out of bounds with 20 seconds left, Lone Peak and Isaac Staley have been running this clock very well. Staley's done a great job of throwing it to the sidelines and getting the clock to stop without having to use, and well, they used one timeout, but the Vikings defense is kind of just letting anything in front of them and just keeping the gains as low as possible, as Staley is going to get flushed out of the, he fumbles!
Oh my goodness!
Picked up by Pleasant Grove!
Tua, Wolf down!
They're going to have one chance to take a shot or kick it. But there's 8.4 seconds left. Wolfgram recovers the fumble.
What do you do here, Alan? Do you kick it or do you go for it? Kicking it will tie it for halftime.
If I am Pleasant Grove, I'm kicking it. I'm not risking Carson going into halftime making a mistake and having that weigh on his mind. I can't see Carson on. I see Carson on the field, so it looks like they are going to run. Pleasant Grove has one timeout, so depending on how fast they run this play, they do have the chance to run a second one, no matter where the ball is thrown. But it's going to be Carson, and I also wouldn't be surprised to see him run the ball and then kick a field goal after the game.
Looking for the play here. 17 on the play clock.
Expect him to try and get a man to jump off sides as well.
Calls the snap.
Carson takes the snap, looks left, looking end zone, throwing end zone.
Sean
Touch.
Cottle!
No, it falls out of his hands, out the back of
quite.
the end zone. Pleasant Grove still has time for one more play with 1.1 second remaining.
Absolutely faked me out. I have to look through 2 different windows to see that corner there. Based on our setup because of the way these different rooms work.
I would like to say, Jack, amazing call.
I was so happy not only just for that Vikings touchdown with such an amazing play looking there. Just unfortunate how
Pleasant Grove is going to use their last timeout. We'll see what they draw up here. The field goal would be about a 43-yard kick, so definitely not a gimme. And Pleasant Grove hasn't shown a ton of confidence to their kickers, but Rockwell Doman is hanging out by the Vikings huddle. He's not in it, so I expect that they'll run one more play shooting for the end zone. But that was an amazing throw by Carson and an amazing, I think Sean caught it. I think it was an amazing catch by Sean and then just great defense as well. So just a great play all around by quarterback, receiver, cornerback, like just really, really well played. And ultimately it didn't end up going Pleasant Grove's way. And they get one more chance here. So we'll see what the coaches drew up in that timeout. Makai Peterson here on the bottom of your screen looks like he's one-on-one. Besides a safety who's off your screen and he's playing up. So Carson in shotgun, takes the snap. Last play of the half. Carson looking end zone, stepping up in the pocket. He's going to take it himself, and he fumbles.
Brought down, fumbled. Lone Peak
and Aiden Branson
not making that same mistake again. Lone Peak recovers, celebrating like they won the Super Bowl. Who knows why?
It's Lone Peak. So Vikings go into halftime down 17-14, and like I said, I wouldn't have wanted Carson going into halftime with a mistake weighing on his mind, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing. He's going to have that mistake weighing on his mind. He had 2 lost fumbles. He had 1 interception in the first half. But all of that can be redeemed in the second half. Pleasant Grove is only down 3. Lone Peak is only up 3. It could go any way for either of these teams.
Really. I think that they almost have to make a full reset of the mind, not forgetting what plays went wrong in this half, but just going in blank, clean slate, and just remember who we are, stick to what we do, and play like we did in the first quarter.
And I think opening up the second half, how they opened up the game with the fire and with the passion that they showed. As I'm not sure what Lone Peak is doing, but their players are kind of just congregating by the gate, and now they're
now exiting the field.
So again, a lot of dislike between Lone Peak and Pleasant Grove.
Hopefully Pleasant Grove student section can stay super involved here and bring energy into the players. I know for a fact that the performance, how much the student section loves you is really going to affect the players' mentality here. And
we cannot play exclusively the audio that they are playing for this routine, but we can talk quietly over it. For copyright reasons, we cannot play it. So it is the Vikings junior cheer team who has halftime this week.
We might have to take a little bit of a break here as commentators, because I don't know if we are loud enough to block out this music.
Yeah, we are going to take a break. We are going to show you a player spotlight. Well, I guess we're going to start with the teacher spotlight. It's Jim Wilcock, the choir teacher.
Okay, what are your goals as a teacher this year?
Oh, goals as a teacher. Is survival a goal? I think my goal really is always been the same for a lot of years. I want to help students be the best that they can be at singing. So giving them confidence in what they do, making sure that they know what they need to do, when they need to do it. So when they leave here, they can continue to sing and be a contributing member of whatever choir thing they decide they want to do. Again, survival. I would say a lot of my personal goals have to do with just being open enough to change what I've been doing. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. This is year 27 for me, so not falling into a rut of just doing the same thing, whether it's at school or home or wherever else. Being willing to push out of my comfort zone, try something new, and just not become a creature of habit in life, I guess. Hobbies. I am definitely a world-class couch potato. I love to binge a good series on Netflix or another streaming service. I love to cook, which is kind of my stress reliever. If I'm feeling really stressed, I'll go make something and then obviously eat it. So yeah, I love spending time with my family, and anybody that knows me knows I love anything Disney related. So when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do for a career, I started out as a theater major, and then I switched to music because of a really dynamic choir director I had in college. But I think if I had to teach another subject, I would want to teach theater. I really do love it. I love acting. I love being on stage, portraying a character, and I think it's so much fun to help students find that same love and passion. That's like literally tapping my entire reserve of movie quotes. Anybody that knows me knows that I pretty much just speak in quotes from different movies or TV shows. I would say right now, TV show / movie quotes probably are coming mostly from Arrested Development. I like to say I've made a huge mistake, just because it seems like I'm always screwing something up. So the best thing about Pleasant Grove is the tradition. I mean, it's been around for a long time, and people that live in Pleasant Grove tend to stay in Pleasant Grove. I mean, in my time here at the high school, I've taught like entire families, like from oldest to youngest child, and now I'm teaching children of former students who are still living here in Pleasant Grove, and just love the feel, love the people, love the culture. So I think that really makes a difference when your community is really gathered around the school and thinks that it's important to support the school as well as the people that live here. Okay, well, I don't want to go skiing because I am physically uncoordinated and I enjoy not having my limbs broken off or in casts. Hiking requires effort, and I am a couch potato, so I would rather watch a Netflix documentary about somebody that went hiking. Swimming is okay. I have a lot of natural flotation, so as long as I can just lay in the lazy river and just be pushed around, then I would pick swimming. Favorite sport? That's hard. I've never been a sporty guy. I played flag football in 7th grade. I played church basketball, but they always like stressed me out to the max. I just never was good in those things. So I'm gonna go with competitive eating. I think like a good hot dog eating contest, that's pretty awesome. So I love what I do. I am super lucky because I get to teach 5 choirs, and choir is literally my favorite thing. I love watching students work together and build their skill. And if you've ever been to one of my concerts, you know that I kind of like to put on a little show. I guess that goes back to that theater side of me. I like to tell a story and be a little theatrical about it. So I love that. I also really love teaching AP music theory. I think it's fun.
Our team goals this year are to sweep region, and then we also want to place top 4 in state. Some of my goals for drill are to get my back handspring this year. One of my life goals is to go to college and hopefully go to BYU Business School, and my goals this year, like in high school, are probably to graduate with gold cords. I like to go boating, I'm on student council, I like to dance. Yeah. My favorite subject in school is probably math. I'm really bad at it, but when I understand it, I like it. My favorite food is chicken Alfredo. My favorite scene from a movie is probably the football scene in Top Gun Maverick, just because it's a good scene. My favorite part about Pleasant Grove is how it's just such a big community and everything is so like together and everyone like can join together for something so cool. If I could go swimming, skiing, or hiking, I would go skiing. I love to ski. I love to play volleyball. I'm on a rec team, and then I love to watch like baseball and football.
Welcome back to PGSN. Pleasant Grove is down 17-14 against the Knights at halftime. Other scores around the region. American Fork, who is at home. If you look through the trees here at Viking Stadium, you can see the American Fork Stadium.
Oh wait, that's actually kind of cool.
Where they are playing. AF. Is leading 27-21 in the second quarter. For some reason,
his mic wasn't on.
AF is leading 27-21 in the second quarter in that game. It's Lehigh's first 6A region game. For some reason on Max Preps it says this game is final. I'm not sure why. But if you can see here on the right side of the screen, it's moving to the center now. You can see those bright two lights. Those are stadium lights for American Fork High School. You can also see a beautiful sunset. We're very privileged to live here in Utah, where we just get absolutely beautiful nature around here. And
if you've ever seen American Fork Stadium, it has it's one of the best stadiums in the state of Utah for a high school. It has state-of-the-art lighting systems with it really is quite cool. It's kind of like night and day there when you turn it on, when you turn on everything. It looks quite cool.
You guys will get to see that magic on the 29th of September when Pleasant Grove goes to American Fork to face the Cavemen. That's 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, and Pleasant Grove here down 17-14. This can't be the first time they've been down this whole season, right?
They could not have been down against Farmington because we shut them out. I think this might be the first time.
We've been
I'd be very
losing in a game.
I'd be very confident to say that this is the first time we have been losing at the end of a quarter. I'm not sure if there's any time in the game, but we never went down against Weber. Sorry, I'm doing some quick looking at every single one. We never went down against Weber. Never went down against Granger at all in the game.
And neither against Layton
And this is,
and West Jordan. We never went down against them either.
it's only halftime, and this is the second most points that a team has scored on Pleasant Grove all season, and only 3 of them have been scored by the offense, if you count field goals as an offensive score. Some will say it's special teams. But we
More
were
or less.
we were never losing against Layton. We were never losing against Layton, Granger, Weber, or Farmington. And we were never losing against West Jordan. So today is the first time the Vikings have been losing all season. I'm glad you pointed that out, because that is
Vikings playing super dominant, obviously starting the first quarter leading 7-0, and kind of a little bit of thought in everyone's head like, wow, could this be the first time we've won in a long time, or the first time that we've been more confident against Lone Peak? And then immediately we threw a pick six, and they then returned a kick for a touchdown for like 78 yards. So really it was quite the thing that quite the situation we found ourselves in. If you guys are wondering about the 3 secret words that we have, we've already said all 3 of them. So
we can expose them now. We can expose
yeah,
our 3.
how about it? So we had popcorn, chimichanga, and bamboozled. Chimichanga might have been obvious, but I did kind of sneak it into the broadcast in a way that made sense at least. It wasn't just me saying chimichanga randomly. Definitely wasn't the hardest words we've ever had, but it still is a fun thing that we're doing here at PGSN. Make sure, if you guys want to submit your own words to say, for us to say on broadcast as a challenge, you can go and follow the Instagram at _PGSN_. And it will have a question sticker, and you can submit any school appropriate words. No phrases. I think that we're not going to use phrases anymore. Like, I don't even know. I don't think chicken drumsticks will be allowed. Stuff like that.
We're sticking to words. We're sticking to words.
Single words, and no supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, because we've already done that.
We killed it. It's been a really fun series going throughout the season, and hopefully we've kept it
Entertaining for you guys to sneak in fun words into the broadcast or watch us get punished, which has only happened once, but it was me and Alan.
It was both of us.
And that was, I think, the first game that we commentated at home against the Weber Warriors. Now, if Wildcats was one of those words, we would have gotten it, because Alan mistaked them as the Wildcats for more than half of the game.
I think we've gotten a little off track, guys. 3 minutes until I'm just gonna not stand for this. 3 minutes until we kick off the second quarter. Pleasant Grove is set to receive. I'm not saying it will happen, and I'm not even expecting it to, but the onside kick for Lone Peak has to be in the back of their mind.
Yeah, because Pleasant Grove, they've shown that they're capable of performing on offense just barely at the end there after Tua recovered that fumble. Carson had an amazing throw to Sean Cottle, which he caught in the corner, and then he dropped.
It was only stopped because of just exceptional defense by the corner. And just Pleasant Grove hasn't done well against onside kicks. I'm not saying it's the football smart thing to do and it's the thing that will happen, but an onside kick has got to be, maybe you're thinking we try it at some point today. So it took us a little bit, but we're going to welcome a very special guest.
Going to have
you may recognize from a broadcast a little earlier.
that we had earlier in the season. We are going to have our principal, John Hanks, as a guest star on our show real quick.
Not Josh Hanks, which I definitely haven't called him at least 3 times, but
Yes, you can come on into the shot.
you'll see him join us. He's going to take
You can take this headset.
Should I take it?
Mr. Barnard Jr.'s headset.
Are we on? Is it going?
Yeah, we are
Okay,
going
awesome.
right now. So I don't know if you're allowed to pick sides.
Oh my gosh. We got this.
How
I'm up here for the
overjoyed
good vibes.
would you be if you were the leader of the school when we
The
finally
principal,
we
well,
take
you
down
know,
Lone Peak?
they're doing all the hard work down there. I'm just got the sideline seat, but they said, when was the last time we beat Lone Peak?
2012.
2012, okay. So this would be the first time in a while. This would be awesome.
It's been over a decade. The last time Pleasant Grove started 6-0 in a season was 2009.
2009. Dang.
So these are things that are kind of on the doorstep right now that you're looking at. Down 3 at halftime, still very much in this
Let's
game.
get it. So listen, I was down there as they were running out. There was hype. There was energy. And they almost ran over a couple of us because they were so excited coming out. of
That's
the
what we were
locker room.
talking
So,
about. You kind of saw at the end of the first half a little bit of the energy being taken out.
Yeah.
After just a couple turnovers and a couple bad breaks. That I'm glad to hear there's some going on down out there. I think we need to get you in the student section. Maybe
There's energy. I
maybe
might
a little
need to,
crowd surf for.
especially with Sweet Caroline going down there. So, hey, next week I want to tell you, homecoming. We got homecoming next week, and the word is we're gonna light the G up on the mountain for the first time since it's been constructed. So reconstructed.
Okay.
So get the word out. 1 week from tonight, homecoming, the G on the mountain is back. It's gonna be
It's
lit.
coming back.
Might not be done with the painting and everything, but
Hopefully
gonna
they
be
have
lit up.
Hopefully they have a W to go with it.
that's right. That's
As
right.
you can hear the Viking horn in the background, that means it's almost time to start the second half. From what you've seen in the first half and all the football knowledge you possess, what do you expect here in the second half?
So 2 plays, you know, the 2 plays that are hurting us. The turnover, the interception for the touchdown, and then the kickoff return. And so I think we're in good shape. I mean, if their offense is their offense and our defense can hold their offense the way we have, then we're going to be fine. We just got to take away those big play mistakes, and we're in great shape. So
This has been something the viewers have heard a couple times, but maybe you can go kind of spread it along the sidelines. Lone Peak didn't have a first down until there was less than a minute left in the
Yeah.
first half. They failed to get a first down, and their offense hasn't scored. So
Yeah.
the defense has been playing great. I know Trevin Gates, Matyra Brown, just a bunch of guys on that defense deserve a bunch of credit. And it's I'm not going to say it's up to Carson because it's not completely up to Carson, but Carson's had a couple bad turnovers that I think he knows those are bad turnovers, and just hopefully he can keep out of his own head and turn it up in the second half. Pleasant Grove's looking to come back. They'll get the ball to start.
yeah, and he'll be all right. We'll be all right. Our defense is awesome. We'll hold them, and feeling good about the second half.
And thanks for joining us, and we will come back with the second half. Pleasant Grove's receiving really quickly. Really quickly here is, we'll see if we'll switch. There we go. So Pleasant Grove here to receive the kick. The energy, as John Hanks just said, it's high. The energy is riding high as here's the kick. Booted out the back, no, it's not out of the back of the end zone. Taking it up past the 20 to the 25. So gets the yards of a touchback is, I believe, Gabe McCoy ran that one back. So Carson Rasmussen and the offense. So Carson, what do you expect? I just asked Principal Hanks, but what do you expect to see from Carson here in the second half, Jack?
I really expect to see some better performing out there. I think that the second half ended after that recovered fumble, and then almost just a bit more excitement. It kind of didn't end off with a terrible way. So could be much better on the mental side of the game here. So I think that it will be a lot better for Carson than he was playing at the end of this, on our last drive on the second quarter.
This first half, this third quarter does not start out extremely well for Carson. Well, not just Carson, but the Vikings offense. They lose 4 yards on their first play from scrimmage. So a second down and 14 for PG. Sean Cottle goes way out wide to this left side. He is one-on-one. I'm going to bring that up really quick. I'll let you get the call if he gets this catch. But they're going to hand it off to Aiden, and Aiden has done such a good job moving forward.
My goodness.
Just a good push from the offensive line and a good push from Aiden makes it a third down and manageable. As Carson is getting enthusiastically
into the
yelled
game.
at.
Sean going far out left as well as Mackay going out right.
You have to think Pleasant Grove's going to target that at some point. It's going to be a handoff to Aiden, and he's going to get the first down, and a Viking helmet pops off.
Going to be a
late
flag on the play.
The Viking sideline is clapping, so they're expecting it to be on Lone Peak. And they do have to separate 2 players, as the Viking player who lost his helmet is number 50, who does not happen to be on our roster, but he will have to sit out a play by rule.
Or not.
Or maybe it was someone else who lost his helmet. It was 55, I believe, Miles Williams on the offensive line, the loser of the helmet. The refs are still debating what the flag is. There was a little bit of a skirmish after the play and likely discussing where to move this ball. It will be a first down for Pleasant Grove if all the penalties are after the play. And Pleasant Grove will have a 1st and 10 no matter where this ball moves. And the call is an ineligible receiver downfield on Pleasant Grove. And they're going to replay the down, and Pleasant Grove's sideline is not at all happy.
Yeah, really interesting call there. Not something you see often.
This is probably the loudest booing I've heard from a high school football stadium.
Definitely not the loudest I've heard, but you do always get some of the loudest when you play such a contentious game.
There couldn't have been an ineligible receiver downfield. They ran the ball.
Yeah, wait.
They ran the ball.
They ran it with Aiden. It couldn't be.
I'm just realizing this. Maybe I have the hand signs incorrect, but unless it was an illegal substitution, I'm trying to. It had to have been an illegal substitution. I'll do a quick Google search to see, but it is an illegal substitution. But I'm not sure what that would have been.
Was it 50?
Because unless it was too many men on the field for Pleasant Grove, there, to my knowledge, was not an illegal substitution. So I'm not sure.
The fact they have to talk about it after.
I'm bamboozled, to use one of our words from today. I'm not sure, to be completely honest, what just happened. But it's a third down and about 15 for Pleasant Grove. If someone maybe has a clearer idea of what happened. As there's another penalty. It will be disastrous. A sideline warning on Pleasant Grove. So the first time this happens, it is just a warning. Nothing else happens besides the flag being thrown, the whistle being blown, and the refs may be glaring at your sideline. But the second time that happens, that's a 15-yard penalty on Pleasant Grove. Carson takes a snap looking downfield. They throw the screen to Aiden, and he breaks a couple tackles and gets taken down at about the 32-yard line. He's going to be 4 yards short, and there is an injured Viking on the field. Pleasant Grove will punt, but first we'll have an injury timeout. So another not great scene here, as writhing in pain on the ground is a Viking offensive lineman. He is now laying on his side as attendants are checking out his leg, it seems.
Do you know what player it is? I cannot tell.
I cannot tell. Lone Peak's whole team taking a knee. So again, high school football, your enemy's on the field, but once someone goes down, it is a brotherhood. We saw it last week against West Jordan, the whole stadium with fingers crossed and knees on the ground for the injured Mason Anderson, and now the whole Lone Peak sideline with a knee on the ground to send out their best wishes to this Viking offensive lineman. And we also send out our best wishes and thoughts and prayers to the safety and the health of
our players.
Not just this specific player, but all players for Pleasant Grove and Lone Peak today. As it is number 54 for Pleasant Grove, who is not on our roster.
We're going to probably get PA announcer to say he has a different player list than us.
It is 54 for Pleasant Grove. And Pleasant Grove will punt, so it's always very somber jumping right back to the action, but that's just how it rolls. A low punt, but a booming one, a low snap, excuse me, and it will bounce out of bounds just inside the 35-yard line. So Lone Peak's offense, which kind of struggled in the first half, gets their first chance here in the second half. It's Simon Roundy, the junior, who went down with the injury. He is sitting on the trainer's table here on the sideline. They're checking out his leg. He's moving both of them on his own. It's his left leg, his upper thigh is what they're checking out. He has a brace on that knee. So the Vikings, the Knights come out in the trip formation. Vikings show blitz, they rush 5.
Staley gonna
a little bit of a screen pass and getting taken down by Sean Caudle after a 3-yard gain. This Vikings defense hasn't done a perfect job of preventing completions, but they've done a great job of limiting their damage. And the way that Pleasant Grove's defense has played has really set up the offense for a chance to succeed, and they're still very much with a chance to succeed. Twins formation on the right side, Staley in the shotgun. Vikings show blitz. They rush 5 again. It's a run.
Gonna be brought down.
It's number 4 for Lone Peak, Jackson Blake. That's very wrong. He has a dislocated shoulder. It's Brooks Wild, number 24. So 3rd down and 6. Pleasant Grove looking to make a stop. Pleasant Grove looking to get a stop here. 8:45 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Staley in the shotgun. Vikings show blitz. Mickelson blitzes off the edge. Throwing deep down the sideline. Caught, but he was out of bounds. Incomplete pass. 8:33 remaining.
That was Trey Robinson that caught that. He's been one of Staley's favorite players to throw to.
Staley threw that one. I'm not sure he knew he had pressure, but Mickelson was coming off the edge, and he was coming hot. And a dime by Staley, too. Just a really, really good throw, but ultimately led his receiver out of bounds. And Pleasant Grove's defense clutches up, and we'll talk about it in a second after this punt, as the punts just keep getting better and better for this Lone Peak team. Fair catch called, and not made, but the ball bounces out of bounds for Pleasant Grove, so they will maintain possession. But something that you'll hear coaches and commentators talk about is using that sideline as a 12th man. And Pleasant Grove's corner doesn't necessarily have to make an interception or hit the ball away himself, but by forcing that receiver, by staying on the inside of that receiver and forcing him to keep drifting towards the sideline as he's running that route, it forces him to run out of bounds when obviously he doesn't mean to run out of bounds, and it leaves him open to make a mistake. Sean Cottle, Tanner Blake, and Cale McCoy in trips on the left side. Coach Walkenhorst is still jawing at a ref. So first down and 10 for Pleasant Grove's offense. Still very much in this game. Carson in shotgun. Takes a snap. Vikings turn to the run. Aiden with Green. Grass gets a gain of 9.
Bully ball. That's what we kept calling it last week. Aiden being able to run through defensive lines.
Yeah, he's played so well this season, and this is a chance for Pleasant Grove to take a shot. 2nd and 1, not quite in plus territory, but technically in between the 40s, which is when you'll see a shot taken. You're down 2nd and short, and you have the opportunity to take a shot. Watch them. I know I've said it multiple times today, but watch the trips on the left side. All 3 of these receivers have a chance to maybe have a mismatch and beat a man down the field. Just depends on if Carson has enough time to stand in the pocket and make that throw. He's going to step up here and just barely get the first down. So a first down for Rasmussen.
Sacrificing himself just to get the first down there. Really, it's hard. It's almost worrisome to see him just bully his way through this many times. It can work, but one wrong move and then you have, I mean, with 2, maybe it's just injury on my mind with 2 injuries in the last 2 games. Simon Roundy is still on the table there, taking his knee brace off, examining it, not really sure what's going on.
So Carson takes the snap. They're going to hand it off again. A gain of about 3 on that play for Aiden Franson. Oh, excuse me, that was Matt Morris, who only had 2 carries last week for 7 yards. So Rasmussen brings the play call in. 2nd down and 7. Ace formation. Carson takes the snap, looking left. Pump fake, steps up in the pocket. Flag thrown,
on the play.
And he's going to get taken down.
I'm guessing a face mask here. It looks like that someone was grabbing his helmet there, grabbing the front of it.
I'm guessing it was on an offensive or defensive lineman. It is a holding on Pleasant Grove. So that's going to push him back, maybe push him back. I think Lone Peak might just take the sack and the loss of down. I would do that if I was Lone Peak. It would be 3rd down and about 12 compared to 2nd down and 17. So the call here and the penalty is declined. So it's 3rd down and 12. Which that's the smart thing to do football-wise, but Carson does have an opportunity to make him pay. He's had a couple big plays this game. The Vikings offense has had a couple of big plays this game, and just with the opportunity to capitalize here. 6:25 remaining now. The Vikings offensive line had a little bit of a longer run to the line of scrimmage. Ace formation once again for Pleasant Grove. Carson takes the snap, looks right, throws right, catch is made, and depends on where they'll give him forward progress. It's going to be 4th down and 1, but I'd be shocked if Pleasant Grove doesn't go for this.
I think it would actually be quite foolish to not go for it. After such an amazing throw right there. Was that to Bronco Winterton?
I believe it was Bronco Winterton on the catch. Or
James
it might
Clark.
have been Kai Peterson. A lot of guesses from us.
Really, quite a few.
But just a great run down that right sideline.
Trips on the left.
As the Vikings try and get a man to jump off sides. They've got 5 seconds on the play clock. Carson takes the snap, throws the screen pass. Tanner Blake needs to make a man miss, and he does not. A stop on 4th down.
So close.
And Pleasant Grove turns the ball over on downs. I don't think Pleasant Grove had the personnel out there who they wanted to have out there for a possible run play. I think you want Aiden Franson instead of Matt Morris. So The Vikings elect to go with a screen pass, and it just doesn't work out. Just trying to get the ball on the sideline. It's a good idea, but just doesn't come through there. And now Lone Peak at the 48. Staley loading the left side, takes a snap. They're going to hand it off. It's Wild again, and he will
Brought
get
down
to midfield with a gain of 2. Second down and 8. Pleasant Grove's defense has played so well all game. Under 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Twins to the left side, and then a single receiver to Staley's right. Staley takes a snap, looks left. He's going to throw left over the middle. And
almost intercepted by
through
Gabe
the
McCoy.
hands of Trey Robinson. And third down and 8 for Lone Peak. We've seen them in a lot of third and longs today. And they're in another one here. They haven't converted. I think they've converted on 1 third down all day. Someone who's been a little quiet today, it's likely just the scheme that Lone Peak is running, but we haven't called 44 a lot. As Staley takes a snap, crowd gets a little loud, looking left, throwing left, and Gabe McCoy cannot get the pass defend that time. 1st and 10 for Lone Peak, a big gain. Gabe McCoy has been so good on that outside sideline, and for the first time today, he gets beat. Trying to rip the ball out late. Lone Peak now brings Twins out to the right side. One running back on the left. Staley. Looking to his sideline. Staley takes a snap. They're going to hand it off to Wild. And he's going to get a short gain of about 2. That's something that Pleasant Grove has done so well today, is defend the run. Wild averaged 2 yards per carry last week, and he's averaging about the same today. So second down and 8, something we saw in the last set of downs as well. As the same formation for Lone Peak. You haven't seen them really target the right side of the field that much. Vikings show blitz, they bring the blitz. Flag is thrown. An offsides. That better not be on Riker Mickelson. Riker Mickelson did not, at least to my eye, cross the line of scrimmage before the play was called. Vikings brought in that corner blitz in an obvious passing situation. And now it moves to second and much more manageable for the Knights. This is the spot where Lone Peak's, Pleasant Grove's defense has really got to tighten up.
Yeah, you got to see performance by 44 here.
Staley in shotgun. Vikings show blitz, and they do blitz. Takes a snap, throws it out. The backfield, and Wild and Staley were not on the same page. Wild was running his wheel route with a lot of heart and a lot of hustle and didn't see the ball coming behind him. So third down and 3. The issue for Pleasant Grove is could easily pass or run in this situation, and you're in 4-down territory.
I think we're about to see we're going to see some big plays by 44 here as defense has to ramp up.
See a lot of noise from this student section. Third down and 3. Staley takes the pass, throws out to the left sideline, and it's dropped. Logan Hoffhines with the mistake. And the offense, like I said, it's 4-down territory. Your offense is going to stay out there. By no means does that kill the drive. 4th down and 3, but a lot of energy here from this Vikings side, and hopefully we'll see even more here on this big 4th down, looking to get the Vikings offense the ball back. Coming out in the ace formation, Staley, 4th and 3. Has to make a big play here in shotgun. Isaac Staley, quarterback blitz, and he's brought down. Riker
Sack.
Mickelson.
My
They're going to call him
goodness.
down. Riker Mickelson has been running that cornerback blitz. I think that's his 4th time this drive, and Riker finally gets to the quarterback on a big 4th down.
My
Watch him here.
goodness.
Come in, and Brooks Wild can't make
What a
the
clutch
block.
play by Riker Mickelson.
Riker.
Pleasant Grove offense gonna go out there.
Riker's seen Staley a couple times there on the gridiron. They've played basketball together for years. And maybe some ill will as Mickelson with the shoelace tackle.
My
And a big sack.
goodness. 3 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Pleasant Grove, Carson in the backfield. Lone Peak shows blitz. They bring 4. And Carson keeps it.
It's gonna be brought down.
And he gets a gain of 1 on 1st down. I think Pleasant Grove needs to start maybe shying a little bit away from the run and doing some quick passes as there's an injured Knight on the field.
I think he is.
We cannot make out a number, and we
I cannot tell if he was.
we try not to show injuries on. We try not to show injuries when they're on the field. So now's not the greatest time, but it is time for the opposing successful student of the game. This season, we're honoring an opposing student who's excelled and grown on the field and in the classroom. And this week's Knight is Brooks Wild, the senior running back for Lone Peak. He excels both on and off the field, maintaining a 3.97 GPA and regularly serving in the community. Brooks is also a 2-year captain and wrestler on the Lone Peak varsity wrestling team.
Lone Peak offensive coordinator Gary Tobridge says of Brooks, he is a coach's dream, very coachable, respectful, and always willing to work. He's the best kind of leader by example.
Lone Peak math teacher Aaron Brinkerhoff says Brooks is the epitome of perseverance. Anytime he didn't understand a topic, he came in, relearned it, and kept at it until he mastered it. He never uses his busy athletic schedule as an excuse to slack and always pursues excellence in his learning.
Brooks is a humble and hardworking, dedicated and consistent athlete, an all-around great kid. He's looking forward to playing football at the next level while pursuing his dream of a career of being an orthopedic surgeon in orthopedic surgery for athletes.
We're very proud of Brooks and the example he is to not just his team, but to the community. 3rd down and 4. Carson tries to get another offsides. 2:05 remaining. Carson takes a snap, throws,
My goodness.
and it's intercepted.
Intercepted.
As just another mistake for Pleasant Grove. C.J. Rubel on the interception. We've been looking towards this game all season, as I think Jack has tapped out a little bit.
I'm not tapped out, sorry. The formidable opponent, starting region play, big time game. Lone Peak is ranked 8th in
They're
the
9th
state.
in the state.
9th in the state, and it could be for a reason. It is for a reason. As they get an interception there and immediately brought down by Sean Cuttle, was a quick throw by Carson with the 3rd and 4. It wasn't needed to do such a quick play there.
With 1:54 remaining here in the 3rd quarter, the Vikings break through
Goodness,
with
bring
a
him
big
down.
sack. That's Tua Wolfgram. Wasn't technically a sack, but a big tackle for loss. A loss of 5 on 1st down, and that puts some energy back in the Vikings sideline.
Maybe some built-up emotion into that one right there, ladies and gentlemen. Quite the tackle as 3 Vikings broke through their offensive line. We're able to make it through there.
So a big tackle for loss, and the ace formation once again for Lone Peak. This Vikings defense has been so stout as they show blitz, and the Vikings do blitz, and a big
Brought down
tackle again. Guess who it was coming off the edge? Riker Mickelson.
Tua Wolfgram takes down Again, so Riker Mickelson takes down Staley while Tua takes down where the ball was.
Took down Wild. It was a running back screen. Riker Mickelson has been feasting on these cornerback blitzes. You wonder when it's just going to be Brooks Wild who's just going to be sitting in the backfield every play, and it's his job to take Mickelson every time he does blitz. And he's
40
done such a good job.
seconds to go.
3rd and 15. Staley takes a snap, throws it deep. 2 Vikings are there, and it falls incomplete. Gabe McCoy has had some huge plays there on that far sideline, and Lone Peak's going to punt with 25.8 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
That was Trey Robinson there that he threw to. Another huge throw to Trey, and not connecting.
The Vikings defense, we will talk about it forever if they keep playing like this, because this defense is so good.
That is the defense that we've been needing to see. I don't think that there was quite that spark for a minute there, but it's back.
And you know what they say, defense to offense.
Tua gets a tip on it. Gonna
And it
bounce
takes a
in
Viking
Vikings
bounce.
way.
And the
Gonna end up
Vikings-
at the 49-yard line.
The 43. The Vikings are going to
43,
start
yes,
inside
sorry.
the 45-yard line. And Pleasant Grove now has a chance to turn defense into offense. 16.6 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. So Carson Rasmussen has made mistakes today. And
Yes. But we can get past those.
the big thing that you are taught as an athlete, as Carson takes the snap, he's going to hand it off to Morris. Morris loses a yard. The big thing you're taught as an athlete is you have to be mentally tough. And you really do have to be mentally tough, especially playing quarterback. And the best thing that Carson can do for himself is to forget every mistake he's made. As the 3rd quarter ends, forget every mistake you've made. You are down 3. You have 12 minutes left to beat a team that your school, to say it plainly, hates.
Yes.
There is
And
a huge feeling of hatred.
after a scoreless 3rd quarter.
It stays 17-14, and Carson can right every wrong, and then some, if he wins this game. The old adage you'll see, you heard him say it after Tennessee beat Alabama last year. Carson will never, and this is a joke, Carson will never have to buy a drink in Pleasant Grove if he can win this game. Hendon Hooker will not have to buy a drink in Tennessee after he beat Alabama, and Carson Rasmussen could maintain that level of status here in Pleasant Grove if he can win this game. That is how strong the desire to beat this Lone Peak team is. Some of the kids, I'd say every kid who's not in high school who was at this game was not. The last time Pleasant Grove started a season 6-0. As they start out this 4th quarter with a 2-yard run to make it 3rd down and 9.
To put it in perspective, the last time Pleasant Grove beat Lone Peak, I was in kindergarten,
I was also in kindergarten.
which is absolutely insane.
And now I'm a senior in high school.
Now I'm a junior. Way to be better than everybody and skip a grade.
A big 3rd down and 9 here for Carson Rasmussen and the Vikings offense. Trips to the right side, 1 wide receiver to the left side. Carson. Whistle's blown. It's going to be a Pleasant Grove timeout here early in the 4th quarter. This definitely does not decide the game, but this could be a big play for Pleasant Grove if they can get this 1st down.
Yeah, it can turn the tides here for how this game is going to end up.
Yeah, Pleasant Grove's really done a great job today of never allowing too much momentum onto Lone Peak's side. When there was too much, they called a timeout, and then halftime. And this is Pleasant Grove's chance, this drive here, to seize momentum back. And not only this drive, but if you do go down and score, whether it's a field goal, whether it's a touchdown, if you do go down and score, your defense as well has another opportunity to take more momentum. And that's what Pleasant Grove needs to do here. Carson coming out for a big, big play. Bronco Winterton, Makai Peterson, Sean Cottle, and I can't catch the last number, James Clark are his wideouts for this play. And then Matt Morris is going to be his running back. Vikings run trips to the right. It's Bronco, Makai, and James. And then I'm guessing it's Sean Cottle at the top of your screen.
Carson reading the play from Walkenhorst.
As it is Sean Cottle at the top of your screen. I think that's where they'll go here. Carson takes a snap, looks right, throws right, over the middle, caught. James Clark, and he gets lit up but stays up. It's a big gain, and from that play, you have to guess that it's 4-down territory for Pleasant Grove. They've got a 4th down and 4 here.
James Clark breaking that first tackle. If he had been able to do a little bit and spin the other way, he would have been able to probably get that first down, but fourth and 4.
You can see they did not go for the big first down on that 3rd down. They went just for yards, and now you've got a much more manageable 4th down here.
Smart move by Pleasant Grove.
It's Matt Morris in the backfield with Carson. He takes the snap, looks right, throws over the middle. Caught!
Bronco
and more.
Winterton,
25,
gonna run it.
And he gets pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Bronco Winterton has been a spark for
limping.
Pleasant Grove today. You can watch him in the slot. The bottom of your screen, not the far bottom, but the guy right above him. Just the little out route and a good find by Carson to throw that ball when he needs to. And then Matthias Nawashine misses the tackle. And Bronco just needs some water. Carson in the backfield with Aiden now.
Walkenhorst barking out the play.
Fade to the left corner as Carson's going to keep it.
He's going to run it.
He finds the corner and just runs into 2 Knights for a gain of about 2. Pleasant Grove, like I said, a big chance for some momentum here. They need to get to the 10-yard line for a 1st down. It's 2nd down and 8. Ten minutes remaining here in this ball game.
Still 14-17. It's been that score since halftime.
Carson, no wideouts split out on his right side. There is a tight end, as it is going to be a run, and
Aiden's
breaking
brought
through
down.
the line, Aiden gets brought back to the original line of scrimmage at the 20-yard line. So a 3rd down and long. You have to expect, and we have been saying it, at least in pregame shows all season, you don't know if Carson's arm has the ability to win Pleasant Grove games. And this is a game where we're going to have to see Carson's arm really come and play to its fullest potential.
3-11.
And this is a play where we will likely see Carson's arm. Almost an obvious passing play as Lone Peak shows blitz, and they do blitz. Carson throws out wide.
Bronco again.
A gain of about 6.
No, that was Makai.
Makai Peterson, they're going to give him 7, it looks like. So 4th down and 3, and Pleasant Grove is going to kick a field goal
Smart
to tie
move.
up this game. I really like that move. I was just about to say I don't like going for it, because if you go for it and you fail to get it, then you give Lone Peak the ball back. And whether or not they go down and score, whether or not they go 3 and out, you give Lone Peak the ball back. And instead, they're going to take their chance at a 30-yard field goal. Oh, no, they're not. Carson's on the field.
No, Carson's still out there.
Carson holds. So Coach Walkenhorst is probably not happy, but he's going to have to use one of his timeouts to decide what they are doing here. Carson was on the field. I think Rockwell was also on the field. So signs point to Pleasant Grove kicking. Rockwell is going on the field. So unless they're splitting Rockwell out as a wide receiver here, or he's fast, but
he is fast.
They are getting set up for a kick. It's going to be about a 30-yarder. Pleasant Grove's ready to go. And Lone Peak is still slowly making their way out there. So it's going to be a 30-yarder with 8:27 remaining. here in this ballgame with a chance to tie it. I don't know why the student section is having T-shirts thrown at them right now.
Should be a play that everyone's paying attention
The
to.
snap, the hold, and the kick
Good.
is good. We've got a tie ball
game.
game. Brand new ball
23
game.
to go.
It's the old adage, we have a brand new ball game.
Yeah.
8:23 to go. Whoever is the best team in these next 8 minutes and 23 seconds will walk back home as victors. And Pleasant Grove so badly wants to be the victors of this game. And I think the Pleasant Grove student section is the fullest I have ever seen it. They are on the back row.
Absolutely
They are
packed.
fully filled, and they have been loud. They have put their mark on this game. So a huge shout out to that student section, and just an amazing job by administration and by everyone who's put together the display of this game on the field, as it really is one of the biggest in very recent memory in the last 2 or 3 years. This is one of the biggest games Pleasant Grove has played, and Rockwell now with an opportunity. Well, Rockwell seized his opportunity to tie up the game, and now he's going to kick the ball off to Lone Peak.
Onside kick.
Lone Peak still has yet to score on offense.
No onside kick. It's gonna be in the end
back
zone.
of the end zone. So I'm not surprised, because 7 of Lone Peak's points have come off that kickoff return that they had in the second quarter, I believe. And then the pick 6 that was the drive immediately following. So Isaac Staley, Lone Peak's offense against Pleasant Grove's defense. Staley brings a man in motion. Back out in motion. Staley takes a snap, looks right. Steps up in the pocket now. And he's going to get hit by 2 Vikings, but it's Riker Mickelson who has a lot of hits on Staley today. I think no matter win or lose, Isaac Staley's he's gonna wake up a little sore because of number 4.
Bars.
So second down and 7 for Lone Peak here.
Alan
They
Judson,
sent 2 wide receivers out on both sides.
sports commentator, freestyle rap.
And now the Vikings sidelines getting hype. Vikings blitz, quick throw to the sideline. And
Brought
these Vikings,
down. My goodness.
the Vikings have done so well. There have been a lot of quick passes that are very short, but the Vikings have done so well closing in on the ball and making the tackles. Something you'll see a lot of teams struggle with, even at a college and even at a professional level, are those open field tackles and just making those mistakes. And Pleasant Grove has yet to do that. Knock on wood. So 3rd down and 5, a big down here. Lone Peak sends 2 men in motion. Trips on the left side. Staley takes a snap, looks right, throws right down the sideline.
Gonna be
Flag
the Trey.
thrown. We'll see what that flag does. It's Makai Peterson, I think, on the coverage. I think he's limping now. We'll see if that flag gives Lone Peak a 1st down. As the ref does like to kind of hide from us. It is a holding on Pleasant Grove. So a 1st down given to Lone Peak. They'll have the ball at the 35 now, with 6:59 remaining here in the ball game. Isaac Staley needs to come up big for his school. 2 wide receivers on the left side. 1 man out wide on the right. Riker shows blitz. 1 guy jumped. It was the right side of either the offensive or defensive line, and it's a false start on Lone Peak. They'll back him up 5.
Riker Mickelson.
Riker, first of all, read that snap count perfectly. He was about to probably lay the greatest hit we've seen on Isaac Staley yet. And
Isaac Staley was completely exposed there.
so I think once they watch this game back, you might have Isaac Staley giving a little bit of a thank you to his right tackle, because by him with the false start, he kind of saved Isaac Staley from a big hit. Riker shows blitz again, backs off now, and there's more movement by the left side of the Lone Peak offensive line, and they'll back them up five more
yards
to the
for a
25.
First and 25.
First and 20 from
First
the
and
25.
20. Sorry, I was like, I didn't know if you were calling it right or not. I don't know anymore.
And I don't want to put all the what am I looking? What words am I looking for? I don't want to give all the credit to one group of people, but I'd say this Vikings fan base, and they're loud.
They're
really
showing massive support for their fellow students.
You never hear a stadium this loud on first down. As Staley throws sideline and incomplete.
Almost taken.
No flag, so second down and 20 now after 2 false starts on first down.
Tua Wolfgram almost had that.
So for 25-yard line, 6:54 remaining here in the ball game. These are the things we saw Lone Peak do at the beginning of the game. These are the things that heart and hustle and intensity force the other team to do. It's these small little mistakes, the 5-yard penalties.
Second down and 20.
That add up. And Staley now takes a snap, looks left, throws left over the middle, and caught, incomplete, intercepted.
No way!
Riker Mickelson!
My goodness!
I said his name at least 100 times, but Pleasant Grove, 23 to 17. Riker Mickelson has been putting his mark on those cornerback blitzes. He gets that left tackle thinking, he backs up in coverage, and he picks the ball off the back of the Lone Peak receiver. Pleasant Grove is up 6 with 6:44 remaining. I need a drink of water.
My goodness, what a play. Alan and I almost lost control of our emotions there.
This stadium was rocking.
Absolutely insane. Was that Sean Cottle there that ripped that ball out of his hands before Riker caught it? It's what it looked like to me. Absolutely amazing play.
It looked like Jashawn Mayberry just got a short gain for Lone Peak. The Vikings defender rips the ball out.
I think it was Sean Cottle.
Sean Cottle. At least me, I'm thinking incomplete pass. Great, we go to 3rd and 20. Riker Mickelson with the awareness to stay on the ball. He takes it to the house. I don't want to crown him too early, but I'm looking at a player of the game candidate right there.
That is a player of the game play. At least play of the game. That might not be a thing, but it should be a thing now based on how amazing that was.
Just based off that play, Riker Mickelson, he has been exceptional today, and I've been saying these are things that you will not see on the stat sheet. These are him having the left tackle have to think about Pleasant Grove's end and Riker Mickelson blitzing off the corner. And these are Brooks Wild having to stay in the backfield for some plays because Lone Peak's head coach, Bart Brockbank, is worried for Isaac Staley's health because you don't want to move to your 3rd string quarterback. And that keeps the dump-off option out of the window. And Riker Mickelson, now he has something in the stat sheet. Now he has something that you're going to see. He already had 2 sacks. Now he has 6 points. And he's back out there for the kickoff return. The adrenaline is surging for this man. And Rockwell kicks that one into the end zone. Just too high, out of the reach of the Lone Peak receiver. So like we were saying, momentum, Pleasant Grove has just a little bit of momentum right now.
6:44 to go in the game.
So just an amazing job by this Pleasant Grove team. As Pleasant Grove's defense now, they were just out there. They've now scored 6 points. So that's 2 pick sixes in this game. Won by both teams. As they moved early, this Vikings blitz. They call off sides, and there are just a few expressive parents in this Vikings side that are not happy about that. But the Vikings blitz is terrifying. Terrifying.
The other down marker, its orange part has fallen off. So it just looks like a floating circle.
You can see it. It's just the floating circle that's being manned by the Chains team on that far sideline, Lone Peak sideline. Isaac Staley now with the empty backfield. Lone Peak maybe looking a little desperate here. Vikings show blitz. They do blitz. Getting through, but not quite getting the hit, and now he breaks free. Making a great tackle in the open field is number 4, Riker Mickelson. But a huge gain for Lone Peak to get some momentum back on their favor.
Yeah, huge gain. Not quite the crazy breakaway that they were looking for.
I mean, Pleasant Grove, still looking at that, has a lot of positives on that play. That was a huge blitz. They brought 7 and almost got right to Staley. I'm not sure who it was, but he ran through untouched. And empty set again. Vikings seem they're going to back off a little bit here with the pass rush. Aiden Franson and his Thor hair getting the sideline hyped up. Staley takes a snap, looks right, steps up in the pocket, evades a tackle. Matyra Brown and Bronco Winterton combined for that one. And it's a first down. Lone Peak student section is also very loud. We'll give some credit to them. 5:55 here to go in this ball game. Pleasant Grove up 7. Clock is ticking. Isaac Staley has played just how he has been asked to today, just doing the fundamentals. He might have to do a little more here. Staley, empty set once again, takes a snap, looks right, quick throw over the middle, and it skips on the ground and incomplete.
Thought it was a fumble for a second.
Trevin Gates was the closest man, but just a bad throw and a pass that went through the hands of the intended receiver, and that helps Pleasant Grove out a little bit, getting some more momentum, just kind of stopping the shift. And now they have a chance here, especially with this exceptional defense, to move that bar a little closer to Pleasant Grove's side, momentum-wise. Staley will stay empty.
2nd and 10 here for the Knights.
Staley takes a snap, looks left, throws left over the middle, catch is made. Riker Mickelson on the tackle. He will be short of a first down. It's going to be 3rd down and 2. A big play for Pleasant Grove here. It is very likely 4-down territory for this Lone Peak team. Actually, no, I'm positive it is 4-down territory for this Lone Peak team. Kicking a field goal here does not make sense.
Because then you're just down 4.
Even though they do have all 3 timeouts, it still makes no sense to kick a field goal here. So 4-down territory, 3rd down and 2.
That is quite the predicament. Pleasant Grove has 1 timeout. 3rd and 2.
Pleasant Grove sideline getting loud.
Staley trips on the right.
Vikings blitz. Over the middle, catch is made, and Mackay
brings him down.
Got forced a little off balance, but makes the tackle on Jaden Mayberry, and a first down for Lone Peak at the 16-yard line. They're looking to go down and tie this one up. So Staley, they're going to keep him in the empty set. I'm a little surprised as a timeout now is called by Pleasant Grove, their final timeout. A little interesting to use their timeout here, but I don't hate the call with the opportunity to give your defense a chance. We'd like to ask you to tune in next week as Pleasant Grove's homecoming game versus the Westlake Thunder, with coverage beginning at 6:45 p.m. and the game starting at 7.
That is Pleasant Grove's homecoming game.
I will be on the call with Kimball Ray, I believe. Nothing for sure.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's going. I'm not sure. We haven't seen the duo of Jack and Kimball since the first game against Farmington. We'll probably see that again this season. And we haven't seen Alan and Kimball. It's been a lot of me and Alan during these broadcasts. So
I think I've been with Kimball once. So
yes.
I think we've both gotten the opportunity to commentate with Kimball once. He's been very busy. You'll learn a little more about him next week, not to give anything away, but a player spotlight for Kimball. So now a whistle blown, I think, as Lone Peak sends man in motion, takes a snap, throws right. Oh no, Staley gets sacked.
Brought
down. Vikings pass rush comes through, and a loss of 5 on 2nd down to make it 3rd and 15 there at the 20-yard line. And there is a Viking down on the field. It is number 52, I believe.
53, that is Mason Ivy.
53, Mason Ivy got the sack.
The junior.
and now has gone down. So that's another injury we've seen today. And we will take a break just because we do not like to show the injuries. So it might not seem very opportune of a time, and it might not seem very, very positive, but we will take a break and update you on the situation when we come back. .404 remaining here in the ball game. Second down and 15 for Staley, who stays in the empty set. Takes the snap, looks right. Vikings only rush 3, throws to the sideline, and it's incomplete. That's a very, very risky throw. So while some Lone Peak fans may be sitting there saying, like, that was a terrible throw, it could have been a lot worse, because if he puts that where he wanted to, that could have very easily been a Viking pick 6.
Yeah, Gabe McCoy was very much on him.
Those far sideline passes are very risky. 3:51 remaining here in the ball game. 7-point lead for Pleasant Grove, looking for their first win against Lone Peak since 2012. Third down and 15. From the 20, Staley takes a snap. Vikings only rush 3. Pump fake. Vikings pass rush gets to him. He at the line of scrimmage. This Vikings defensive line has been out of their minds. 4th and 15.
4th down territory here for the Knights.
So from the 20-yard line, now it's 4th and 15. I don't want to call it early, but this could very easily be the game. Again, I'm not calling it early.
3:15 and counting.
Because Lone Peak is still set up very well if they do not convert this. They still have all 3 timeouts. But more pressing for the Knights and Pleasant Grove is this play right here. Staley stays in the empty set, takes a snap, looks left, throws over the middle, and it's caught as he's short. It's going to depend on the spot. And they're going to give him the first down. So first down and goal, he gets to the 5. Exactly where he needed to. And all the effort from Pleasant Grove has not necessarily gone to waste, but not set up how well they thought they were going to be. They thought he was just short, and it's too close to call, and the refs understandably give Lone Peak the benefit of the doubt. So first and goal from the 5-yard line. And a timeout now will be called by Lone Peak. So 2 remaining for the Knights. 2:28 remaining for the Vikings and the Knights here in this big ball game. I don't want to give myself or us too much credit, but we said before the game that this was the game of the week. This was going to be the game that came down to the wire. This was going to be the game with the most emotion in it. And so far, we have delivered. American Fork is up 55-21 on Lehigh, and that was determined the game of the week. And then Skyridge is just beating Westlake into the ground 48-7. Pleasant Grove will see that Westlake team next week. And those are scores from around the region. These teams are vying for pride. That's really what it comes down to. Obviously, it's a win on the schedule. For Pleasant Grove, it moves them to 6-0. For Lone Peak, it moves them to 500. But really, this comes down to pride. And this is a Pleasant Grove team who wants to have the pride of being able to say, yeah, we beat Lone Peak. We beat Lone Peak. For the first time in 11 years, we beat Lone Peak. In the I formation, Stanley will hand it off, and a gain of about 1. They're not going to give him anything. So second down and goal. I'm not sure I like the idea to run the ball here, because running the ball has not succeeded for Lone Peak today. And obviously, can change at any time. You can have, I mean, all they need is a run of 5 yards. But I'm not saying turn into the air is the correct decision, but the rush is certainly not surprising. Maybe they watched the Seahawks Super Bowl 49 right before this. Staley, now he drops back to pass, throws to the end zone, and it's incomplete. Getting a hand in there.
Pleasant
Who was
Grove
that?
Lives.
Gabe McCoy.
Pleasant Grove lives another day, and by another day, I mean another down.
Gabe McCoy is vying with Riker Mickelson for the You Won't See It on the Stat Sheet award. And there is 1:57 remaining here in the fourth quarter. The clock just slowly getting lower. Third down and goal. Obviously, you are in 4-down territory here. And now the Vikings student section is getting loud, hyped up by Principal Nelson. Staley with the 2-back formation, takes a snap, throws right, fade in the end zone. Incomplete.
Again!
Gabe
My
McCoy.
goodness, Gabe McCoy!
Gabe McCoy does not care. He will block the ball wherever you put it. And he has shown that time and time. Drop it in the receiver's hands. Gabe's bringing his arm up. It's down. Put a jump ball, and now I have never seen this crowd this hyped up. In the last 3 years, the Vikings went 1-10.
Parents
the Vikings
are standing
went
up.
6-6. They're trying to become bowl eligible, if you will, today. 1:52 remaining. 4th and goal from the 5-yard line. If I could yell any louder, I would.
My goodness, here we go.
Staley, same formation, running back on his left hip. One wide receiver on both sides. Staley takes a snap, looks right, throws to the end zone.
Oh,
It's tipped.
again!
It's no
Oh, my
good.
goodness!
Tanner Blake.
Oh, my
Tanner
goodness!
Blake puts his hand up.
Blocked
And it's
again.
Vikings ball with 1:48 remaining. This Vikings defense is playing out of their minds.
You have no idea.
This Pleasant Grove team has grown so much over the past 2 seasons. I was saying before the play, they went 1-10 2 seasons ago. Team full of freshmen and sophomores. Carson Rasmussen, at the time this team went 1-10, was in junior high school in Saratoga Springs. The next season, last season, they went 6-6 with a very close loss, as there's a penalty on Pleasant Grove for excessive celebration. It moves them from the 5 to the 2.5. But Pleasant Grove's gonna stay hyped up anyway.
The players gave the crowd a thumbs up after that call. Not sure what to think of that, but
This is Pleasant Grove's time to run the ball. The most important thing that Pleasant Grove can do here is get a first down.
absolutely.
That is step one. And that is basically all they need to do to win this game. We have 1:48 remaining here. The issue, Carson's gonna be taking the snap from his own end zone. Well, he goes under center. And that's a
Maybe
safety.
brought down.
Aiden Franson gets taken down in the end zone, a safety. That's 2 points for Lone Peak, and they have a chance to go down and win this game. Pleasant Grove's gonna kick off to Lone Peak, and they're going to get the ball with 1:40 remaining. They have 100 seconds to go down the field. A touchdown wins them the game. This would be, if it happens, in no shortage of terms, heartbreaking. Soul-crushing.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
But we're not going to read into it. Pleasant Grove is still up 5. Their defense has played so well. 100 seconds left to hold on. This Vikings team has played so well today. They have played the fundamentals so well in terms of no penalties. They have been very, very shortly penalized. And a big thing that they can do here is what they've done all game, and make Lone Peak make mistakes. And that's what they have forced Lone Peak to do all game. False starts, missed tackles, forcing dump-offs is all Pleasant Grove needs to do. But first, they need to get a tackle on this punt/kickoff. Because there's been a kick returned for a touchdown already today. And losing to a team when their offense scores no points would just put the icing on the cake of feelings. Bad feelings.
Here is
negative
Rockwell
feelings.
going for the kick. He has had absolutely bomb kicks this game.
He has to kick it from the 20 due to the safety. And you will probably not see him kick it 80 yards. So we will likely see a kickoff return, as it's a little bit of a squib kick. It gets to about the 27 before it's fielded by the Knights. A block in the back is not called, and taken down just past midfield is number 2, Matthias Nauheim. There's 1:32 left to go.
92 seconds.
Pleasant Grove is trying to hold on. Lone Peak is trying to show that they are for real. And Isaac Staley, it's all going to be on the back of Isaac Staley, Lone Peak's backup quarterback. So here we go. Viking Stadium is loud. The fans are doing their part. The players have done their part to get themselves to the position they're in now. They have 92 seconds left to stand. Staley takes a snap, throws out to the sideline.
Brought down.
Tackled inbounds. The clock is going to continue running. You're going to see a lot of hurry up by this Lone Peak team. Pleasant Grove's going to meander around and maybe drop the ball and have a bad pass to the ref every now and then as they can, as the clock moves to 1:10. Staley, empty set once again. 2 timeouts left for Lone Peak. Takes a snap, looks right, continues to look right. Flushed out of the pocket, and he's going to get taken down inbounds as well. Without a first down, it's going to be 3rd down and 2, and Lone Peak is going to use their first timeout with 53.2 remaining. Just to put it into perspective, how long it has been since Pleasant Grove last beat Lone Peak. Last time they beat Lone Peak, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One did not exist.
The newest iPhone was the iPhone 4.
Vine was birthed and deathed.
In the time.
And the #1 song on October 4th of 2012 was One More Night by Maroon 5.
Another example. LeBron James was on the Miami Heat last time, and
LeBron James was considered just entering his prime the last time that Pleasant Grove won. To put it in more perspective,
he is now the leading scorer in the NBA of all time.
It has been 3,990 days, which is also the length of my mom's Duolingo streak, just to shout her out really quick.
That is insane.
It has been 95,755 hours since this Pleasant Grove team has beat Lone Peak. They have 53.2 seconds left and a big 3rd down coming up. 4th down territory. Staley in the empty set. Takes a snap, looks left, quick pass over the middle. They'll get the first down, but Trevin Gates brings him back and throws him down.
Whoa!
And a late push and a flag. And 2
Another
flags.
flag.
Trevin Gates, number 44 for Pleasant Grove, and 56, Missiona Patain, excuse me if I said that incorrectly, the senior guard, had a little bit of jawing after that play.
Lone Peak player pushing him over.
Did nothing wrong, in my opinion. He drove the running back and threw him down before the whistle was blown. Everything he did was completely legal. The play was still live.
Double flag thrown. Don't know if it's going to be a penalty on Lone Peak or a penalty on Pleasant Grove.
Trevin will only get penalized if it was after the play and it was an unsportsmanlike. Maybe he said something, maybe another player said something.
He stood up and looked at him.
There's the personal foul on Lone Peak, the unsportsmanlike conduct, and a similar one to Pleasant Grove. The penalty's offset. It's a 1st down, and Pleasant Grove is mad.
They are not happy.
So no yardage will be added. 47.3 remaining. The good thing for Lone Peak is this stops the clock for them. You'll see the ref, or the ref should, go stand behind the ball, and as he starts to back up, the clock should start. And so Lone Peak is aided by these penalties. From the 38-yard line, 47.3 seconds remaining. Isaac Staley in the empty set, 47.3. Like I said, Vikings up 4. Any touchdown, a touchdown will put Lone Peak in the lead. Any other score keeps Pleasant Grove as the leader. Staley takes a snap, looks right, throws right to the end zone. And there's going to be a PI. That's
PI.
a great play by Mackay Peterson. Mackay Peterson did exactly what he should have done. But after he messes up the coverage, pulling the player down, you're not going to catch the touchdown. You can have 15 yards, but you're not going to catch that touchdown. So not a great outcome for Pleasant Grove. Obviously, Lone Peak is kind of set up here with 35.2 remaining, down 5. All they need is a score. But the absolute damage control by Mackay Peterson. Again, not great, but better than what could have been. 35.2 seconds remaining. The clock will stay stopped until Lone Peak snaps this ball. And the refs are going to go talk. They're going to switch out the ball. Viking Field on its feet. We're on our feet. We hope you're on your feet.
With your popcorn. Maybe there's still some left from at the beginning.
I don't know how you could leave some all the way till the end of this game. You would have had to go pop another bag. But here is Staley. First down and 10. The backup quarterback takes a snap. Vikings rush 3. Throw to the sideline, goes to nobody.
Out of bounds.
Second down and 10. It's at 32 seconds flat. Lone Peak still has that timeout in their back pocket. Staley and the receiver just not on the same page. Carson Rasmussen has done everything that he can. The game is out of his hands. He has to watch from the 50. Staley, once again, alone in the backfield, empty set. Second down and 10, 32 seconds. Staley takes a snap, throws to the end zone.
No
And
good.
wide open was Nauheim. The throw was off target, and Nauheim slipped.
Third and 10.
4.8 seconds went off the clock, so 27.2 remain. Time is not, as I said earlier, time is not a concern for this Lone Peak team right now. If they lose the game, it will not be because of time. Vikings up 5. We are the Vikings, couldn't be prouder, getting rowdy, as Staley once again has the game resting on his back. Third down and 10. Isaac Staley takes a snap, looks left, throws over the middle, caught. And Trevin Gates brings him down short of the first down. It's fumbled. It's fumbled. We'll see where they point. The stadium will explode if it goes Pleasant Grove's way. As we wait in anticipation. And Pleasant Grove football!
Yeah! Whoa, yeah!
Let's go!
Pleasant Grove!
17.4
It's their ball! 2-1 grab!
All Carson
Pleasant
Rasmussen,
Grove!
all
Hero!
Carson Rasmussen has to do is get the ball, put his knee on the ground,
And
do that twice, and Pleasant Grove has
breaks the
beaten Lone
11-year
Peak.
curse.
Pleasant Grove has done the unthinkable.
My goodness.
Coming into this season, Pleasant Grove's over-under was set as 4.5 wins. This is Pleasant Grove's 6th win as they get the ecstatic feeling to come out in victory formation, and the Vikings are going to rush the field. Again, it's going to take 2 knees from Carson because you're going to see a timeout come in from Lone Peak, and they're not going to call it.
Goodness.
That is the ball game.
That is it.
After 11 years, exuberance, excitement, and all-out childlike wonder.
The curse is broken, ladies and gentlemen.
19 at home. You will see all the students crowd the field, and I would be the first one down there if I didn't have this headset on. But boy, am I glad to have this headset on for this game.
You this experience here.
The members of PGSN 11 years ago, when this last game of Pleasant Grove beating Lone Peak was called, are now 30 years old. And now
We finally
Pleasant
win
Grove
again.
beats
24 to
Lone
19.
Peak. Pleasant Grove beats Lone Peak 24 to 19.
Going 6-0, advancing their record.
For the first time since 2009, as we'll welcome you into our studio in just a second. We got to get some chairs out of the way. but Pleasant Grove has done what some people would have been
only dreamed
shocked
of
to
happening.
see happen 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this was a team who went 1-10. 2 years ago, this was a team full of kids who had grown up watching this team lose to Lone Peak. 2 years later, this team has now beaten Lone Peak. And if you think we're being dramatic, the times that I heard, I hate Lone Peak, we better beat Lone Peak, I hate Lone Peak, Lone Peak must go down, this week were countless. The emotions for this game were riding so high. They were in the clouds. And Carson Rasmussen will never have to buy a drink in Pleasant Grove again. A Viking legend.
Don't forget who recovered that fumble. Tua Wolfgram was on top of the ball when they revealed that Pleasant Grove had possession. Ran back to the sidelines. Crowd going crazy. Gabe McCoy going crazy. Carson going crazy.
There are so many names that we can put out as our door's about to fall down. But there are so many names that we can put out for this Viking team of players who put a massive fingerprint on the game. The big one, and our player of the game today, Riker Mickelson. Number 4 for Pleasant Grove, came up huge. I have notes down here. This is every turnover. This is every touchdown. This is every field goal that was scored today. Riker's name is last. Riker's pick 6 in the 4th quarter put Pleasant Grove up 24-17.
As
and boy,
the
oh boy,
players approach the student section again, getting massive
the empty
cheers.
student section.
Yes,
And
mostly the parents. The parents are there to cheer
If
because
they-
they are as big of Viking fans as our students are and as we are.
If they could light the G tonight, that G would be lit brighter than we have seen in a decade.
Over a decade.
Over a decade. 2012, October 4th of 2012. And now here we are on September 15th of 2023. And Lone Peak has finally been defeated by the Pleasant Grove Vikings. After a close game in the basketball playoffs last year, that's kind of when I felt the peak of Lone Peak dislike come into this school. And now all that dislike, we can finally say who won.
Pleasant Grove. Riker Mickelson, amazing work done today. When Lone Peak was down there, 4th, like 5 yards to the goal because of the over excessive celebration. And then they got, I forgot what it's called, safety. They got a safety. So then, sitting there, 1st and goal. And 4 plays were blocked by Riker and Gabe McCoy.
Gabe McCoy is another man who put his fingerprints all over this ball game. And I think we're going to wrap this up really quick because I want to run down there with them. I don't know about you, but
I want to.
I want to go down there. So Pleasant Grove beats Lone Peak, and Gabe McCoy, Riker Mickelson, Tua Wolfgram. There are countless names we can list off on this Vikings defense who really led them to victory. So signing off as the Pleasant Grove Vikings beat the Lone Peak Knights, I'm Alan Judson.
And I'm Jack Barnard.
Tune in next week as we take on Westlake. Go Vikings! And we beat Lone Peak.